Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. And look, I know I'm not supposed to be live for another like 4.5 minutes, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, why am I just sitting here? Let's just go live and start doing this thing. So I hope that you've had an awesome week. I hope that your videos are doing awesome. I hope that your channel's heading in the right direction. But I do want to let you know that if you are watching this on the replay, there's tons of information about YouTube shared during these live streams. And what I would like you to do is skip around a little bit, because this is a user-driven or a viewer-driven live stream, which means that I have no direction. I have no idea the questions I'm going to be answering during the live stream today. They're basically being pulled from the form that is down in the description of this live stream right now, and I'm also pulling them from chat here later in the stream as well. So as the questions come in, they get answered. So because of that, all types of things get answered during our live stream. We talk about getting views, we talk about getting subscribers, getting money, burnout, balancing YouTube with life and work and school and all this other stuff. We talk about some of the tech. Basically, everything related to YouTube and being a content creator is discussed at some point during this live stream. So make sure that you skip around if you're watching on the replay. Now, if you are here during the live stream today, I hope that you are, hope that you're doing awesome. Hope that you have your notepad ready and that you are ready to learn a little bit today, or at least that you're just ready to hang out and have a good time here during the stream today. So before we get started, I do want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by Tubebuddy, which is the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. Tubebuddy will help you optimize your videos for discovery, help you test your thumbnails to make sure that the thumbnails that you are using are effective for the people that you're trying to reach. In addition to that, they have 88 more tools that you can use on your YouTube channel. So you can try Tubebuddy for free at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin. And of course, if you have under 1,000 subscribers, if you do decide to upgrade to one of their premium plans, then you actually get a substantial discount just because they know you're getting started and they want to help you along in that journey. This stream is co-sponsored by StreamYard, which is the live streaming platform that I use to live stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So if you are watching this on the replay, make sure you come back next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. But the reason I use StreamYard is because it's super easy. Like you have to have no streaming knowledge whatsoever in order to use StreamYard. Like, it's really, really easy. But in addition to that, they make it really easy to bring on guests. You can add graphics to the screen. You can pin comments to the screen, all kinds of really cool stuff. But they also do all the heavy lifting for you on the cloud. So even if your computer sucks, StreamYard will still help you have an awesome stream. So you don't need a strong, powerful computer to run it like you do with a lot of the other stuff that's available out there. So you can try that at StreamYard.com. Or of course, I've got links to Tubebuddy and StreamYard and a bunch of other stuff that will help you out as a YouTube content creator down in the description of this stream right now. Whew! All right, so we got through all that stuff. Got through all the housekeeping stuff, right? I hope everybody's doing awesome. Hope that you are having a fantastic week. If you are just joining the stream, what we're doing is I'm answering your YouTube questions, and we're all content creators here. Everybody that's hanging out in the chat, we're all content creators. And, as a content creator, we all go through similar things. We have similar questions that we ask. We have similar problems that we run into that we need to figure out how to overcome. And that stuff is what I'm here for today, to help you hopefully get a better understanding of YouTube so that you can perform better on the platform, and really so that you can also know what's required of you as a YouTube content creator if you want to start getting results on the platform. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to give a few shout outs here really quick, and then we're just going to jump right into it and get going. But I do want to let you know, if you're here right now, you're in the early bird squad. So make sure that you do get your question down in the description, or down in the form that's in the description below, so we can get it answered here on the show today, because I don't have a lot of them in there. So first off, I just want to say, Mike's Auto Detailing, what's up? Albie-tastic, hope that you are doing awesome. Nice to see you in here. Martonic, hope that you're doing great. Thanks for hanging out in the stream and submitting the question, right there after I nudged, as long as you did resubmit. Scrap and Pallet Man, hope that you are doing awesome. SMA Sky, hope that you're doing great as well. Love of Pets, welcome to the stream. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hop right into it, and we're starting with this very first question, which is from It's Aero Pilot, is the name of the YouTube channel, and they upload every other day. That's a heavy heavy upload schedule. So nice work on you being able to manage that. But they do gaming and Minecraft content. The goal of the channel is to get 1,000 subscribers on it. And the question says, hey, Nick, I love your thumbnails, or I'm sorry, I love your tutorials for YouTube. How do I start improving my views and subscribers on my shorts? If so, how can I transform them into long form content? So when it comes to your YouTube shorts, one thing that is really important to make sure that you are thinking about is that YouTube shorts is one of the shelves, or it's one of the places on YouTube where you can get views. So when it comes to getting views in YouTube shorts, of course, you want to just make content that's appropriate for the short shelf so that you can perform well there. And then, of course, you want to encourage people to subscribe or follow you for more, whatever the thing is, based on whatever it is that you're doing in your short. But at the end of it, make sure that you add just a really quick call to action, unless, of course, you're trying to get people to loop and that call to action would end up messing that up. But what you can do in that case is, if you are putting your shorts together in terms of editing them, then you can get a little video graphic that just reminds people to subscribe, that kind of thing, just to give them that nudge. So if they're enjoying the short, it lets them know that, hey, remember to subscribe, so that if they are enjoying that short, then, you can get that click. Now, in terms of getting people to come over, if people are enjoying your shorts, then of course, YouTube will continue to show them, some of your shorts and all of that. But in addition to that, if they are enjoying your shorts, then YouTube will test some of your long form content against them. And this is where it gets difficult. And this is where shorts and long form content are drastically different when it comes to YouTube. So basically, when it comes to the shorts, your shorts happen to people. So if you open up the short shelf on your phone and you start watching a short and you start flipping through them, then nobody has to make a choice in order to see your video. YouTube just shows it to them. And then that's why it's so easy to get views on YouTube, because you don't have to actually get people to click on your shorts, right? So that's why a lot of people are leveraging shorts for that initial attention, so to speak, because they're still working on how do I get people to click on my long form videos. So because of that, it just kind of helps encourage you to keep going, because it seems like an easier thing, because they're literally just putting your videos in front of people, right? But when it comes to the long form content, the difference is going to be, because you said, how can I transition into long form? The difference is going to be your ability to get people to click on your long form content, enjoy your long form content, further engage in your long form content once they start watching it. And by doing that, that's going to help YouTube identify that the people that are doing those actions are having a good experience with your content, which will then help the system know that, hey, people are enjoying this content, so let's show it to more people that use YouTube in a way to these similar to the way that these people that are already enjoying the content. So in terms of improving the views, of course, your titles for your shorts matter, because, like for the people that do see those, that little bar that you see on your phone, and then they actually have to click into it, those titles can grab attention, pull people in, and you can also get short views on the regular YouTube platform as well. You can get them from home pages and from search and all that stuff too into your short form content. So make sure that you are being, very intentional about your titles and things like that, so people will actually click on what it is that you're doing. Same exact thing. If you want to add thumbnails, you can. They don't show up in the short shelf by itself, but they do show up for the other features as well. So I'm actually just testing right now. So I have a short actually pinned to the very top of the screen right now. And on that one, I didn't do a thumbnail, but the one previously I did. And right out of the gate, I can already see that the ones where I am adding the thumbnails, and this isn't just on mine, I've tested this elsewhere too, but the ones with thumbnails typically do get a decent amount of traction as well from the other features. And it's just because it's more appropriate for the regular platform is my guess on that. Because instead of just seeing the bars on the side with the little image right there in the middle, then they see an actual thumbnail. So when they click on it, it's a similar thing that they're seeing, with everything else that they're looking at in their mobile feed and so on. So just keep that in mind, and I hope that answered your question. Care of Design, what's up, man? Hope you're doing awesome. Martin, Calming Anxiety, see you shorten the channel name there. Love it. Hope that you're doing fantastic. Hope you're doing fantastic today. Welcome to the stream. So next up on our list here, question number 2 is we have Martonic. Martonic, here's your question, man. Hope this is a good question. Let's see what you got. So the type of channel is gaming. They focus on Call of Duty content. And the goal of the channel is I'm trying to build a community of people interested in Call of Duty and gaming, and hopefully gain monetization by the end of the year. I want to provide the highest quality content to my viewers. And that's an awesome thing to strive for. So just a really quick thing before I actually get into your question videos that I can possibly give them, like you're probably going to do fine here. And the reason for that is because your mind's in the right place in terms of the approach that you're taking. You're thinking of the viewers, thinking of how you can give them better content. And at the end of the day, that's what makes everything move for all of us, right? Like when I make a video, I got to think of you guys, and I got to think like, hey, you know, what would they respond to? What information do they want? What information do they need? What's going to help them the most when they click on a video? How am I going to grab their attention? I got to go through all this stuff too for you guys, right? But the fact that you're already thinking like, hey, how can I make the highest, you know, quality video? How can I give them a great experience in my content? You're going to do fine. But anyway, the question is, are thumbnails for short videos important? We kind of just answered that one. Says, I've been good at adding them to my shorts, and I found a really awesome way of separating shorts thumbnails from normal video thumbnails. It's essentially the normal automatic thumbnails that YouTube gives for shorts, but edited a bit, adding shorts logo and a color correction to make it pop a bit more. Yeah, so that definitely works in terms of, you know, just kind of making the thumbnail a little bit more, you know, captivating, so to speak. However, you might want to consider making a wide, like a 16 by 9 or 19 by 20 by 10 or 1920 by 1080 or a 1080 by 720 thumbnail that is, you know, ratio correct for how YouTube displays thumbnails on the platform. Test that with the content that you're putting out with your COD content. See if you can get more, attention to it. And how you check that, by the way, is basically like right now, if you're using the short and you are just you're downloading that thumbnail and then you're doing the color correction and all that, then what you can do is you can go and look at your click-through rate, go into your analytics first, go into your YouTube analytics inside of your Creator Studio, go to that particular short or whatever shorts you're going to end up doing this with in terms of the testing. But you go into that short and you go in your analytics and then into advanced mode. And I actually have a short on how to actually find this. If you click into that thing on the top, then hit my channel, then of course, you know, you'll find that short in terms of explaining to you exactly how to find what I'm telling you right now. But basically you go into advanced mode, then go over to traffic sources for that particular short. And then when you go down, you're going to see the click-through rate that you're getting for the other features on the platform. You'll see how much traffic you're getting from the short shelf compared to everywhere else and so on. So what you want to do is you want to note that click-through rate that you're getting from home pages, for example, and suggested videos and search if you do want those to come up in search. But I'm going to guess that you're probably making a recommendation play if you're using shorts at all. So because of that, look at your browse, click-through rate compared to the impressions that you're getting. Look at your suggested click-through rate compared to the impressions that you're getting, and then make a note of that, put it in a spreadsheet or whatever so you can track it, mark the date that you made the change and all that so you can attribute, any change that you made to the change itself. But basically then what you want to do is you want to upload another thumbnail that is ratio correct like I was talking about, and then pay a close attention to your click-through rate there for about the same duration of time or about the same amount of impressions, and then start looking to see which one ended up performing better, and then rinse and repeat that process through the next nice handful of shorts that you do on your YouTube channel. And then over a short amount of time, pun intended, you're going to be able to see, what type of approach that you take when it comes to your thumbnails that ends up working better for you on the platform. So, so that would be the approach that I would take there. Paul Peck Drywall Tube in the house. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. Doug Hewson, YT, my man. Hope that you're doing great today. Rasheen Babe saying that they suck at YouTube. Hey, we all do. When you start, it's just part of the process that we go to. So just embrace that right now and just look at it like, hey, if I started playing, an instrument right now, I'd probably suck at that too. If I started playing the violin right now, I'd probably suck at it. So therefore, I would suck at it. So therefore, I would need to go through the process of learning how to play violin, learning, what all the little chords are, learning how to actually set the thing up by, having a little thing go up and push the strings up and, all that good stuff. But, learning how to set it up, would be a part of it, learning how to actually play it, learning how to get your bow together and how to put the resin on the bow, all that good stuff. It's all stuff that you got to learn in order to get good at playing violin in that example. So in terms of YouTube, same exact thing applies. If you suck right now, just embrace it because we all start there. And then from there, just start thinking to yourself, okay, what do I need to work on in order to make myself not suck at YouTube? So for example, if I, can't get people to click on my thumbnails and I can only get views from shorts, then I got to start learning on how to make better thumbnails, how to write better titles. If my audience retention isn't great, I got to start learning how to edit my videos. I got to start learning how to present whatever it is that you're doing in your content. I got to start learning how to present that in the best way that I possibly can. And by present it, I don't mean like you being on camera. If you make that type of content, that's cool. And then that does come down to your actual presentation. But even if you're doing animations where you're not on screen, you're doing gaming content, if you're not on screen, in both of those scenarios, you know, it's still a presentation. If you're adding your voice to it and things like that, you're basically making this presentation for the people that are going to watch it. So in order to not suck at YouTube, you got to go through the process of developing the skills that you need in order to not suck at YouTube. So let's see here. So there was a question that popped up here. Let me just open it up over here actually really quick. And we had a super chat come through.
Super chat.
And this is from Satis Glens. Hey, what's up? Hope you're doing awesome. It says 21 months, 107 high quality 4K videos on photography and only 4,096 subscribers. Should I consider leaving YouTube as I see no growth the way that it should be? So a couple things to think about is, and this is not going to be the answer that you're looking for, but I'm just being transparent with you, is if you are not getting the results that you want on YouTube, like I just went through in terms of the side of like skill development, it either comes down to the skills in terms of putting everything together. You're a photography person, so I'm guessing, you know, you've got that part covered, right? So then it comes down to making the right content decisions. So then you would need to do a review of your content strategy and how you're putting content out and why you're putting certain videos out at certain times and things like that. And you also want to make sure that you're digging into your stats, because if you have 4,000 subscribers on your channel, you have, you know, 107 high quality videos, 4K videos on photography, and you're not seeing, you know, much growth, you might go and look in your analytics and find out that your thumbnails suck, right? Or your videos might be awesome, but you just might have a hard time getting people to click and so on. So make sure you dig into your stats, because that's going to tell you where your fail points are, or not your fail points. I mean, I say it that way, but at the end of the day, it's really like, hey, this is the stuff you got to work on. It's not a fail point. It's like, hey, this is just stuff that I need to improve, you know, as a priority over the other stuff that I'm trying to, improve on my channel. So just make sure that you are, you know, that you're doing those things. So here, Cutting the Caboose. What's up, Daniel? Hope you're doing awesome. Thanks for swinging by. Says, double the life of your shoes by only wearing one at a time. Follow me for more incredible life hacks. I love these. I don't know if you make these up or if you get them from like a book or something or somewhere on the internet, but these are great. So thanks for that. Laney the Lawyer says, hey, Nick, I have two questions. Can you talk about the new Zoom Q8 in 4K? I'm a partner at a law firm. Can I use the phone number in the YouTube video or anywhere else in the description or anywhere else? So yes, you can put your phone number there for people to contact you. You can embed it in the video if you want, or you can put it down in the description. Just as a heads up, if you do embed it in the video, that can run into issues for you like down the road. I know you can like forward, you know, phones around and all that stuff, but let's say that you end up like moving to like another place for whatever reason, because you know how life is sometimes. But let's say you end up moving to like another state or another city or something like that, and the phone number would change. Of course, you'd be able to, you know, forward everything through. But when you actually say it in the video or you show it in the video, then, you know, that video, if it ended up doing well and, you know, constantly driving you a lot of leads, and then you moved, then, you know, that would create a little bit of a complication. So you might want to drive people down into the video description for that. But at the end of the day, as long as it's doing the job that it needs to do, you know, while that number is, you know, valid and it's going to the right place and all that, then in that case, you know, go ahead and just add it to the videos. But on the side of the Zoom Q8 in 4K, never used it. So unfortunately, I can't give you any, you know, tips or any information at all about that, because I've never, I personally haven't used it. So let's see here. So what do you miss? So somebody just said, hey, what did I miss? Let me see where that one is. Hold on. I missed it. Okay, so Moto Camping Stone says, what did I miss? Basically, we're just getting started, getting everything kind of ramped up here. The things that we've talked about so far is basically the difference between short content and long-form content, and getting more views on your shorts and getting more views on the long-form content, developing the skills that you need in order to, you know, do all this stuff. We had a super chat that came in just a minute ago from Satis Glens, and on that particular one, he's talking about, you know, his progress is just not moving as fast as they would like it. So in that case, I just mentioned some things that, you know, they should go look at in their stats to try to uncover why, because, you know, making good content is one thing, but in addition to that, you also have to make sure that topically you're putting out the right content that the people that YouTube is showing your content to would respond to. In addition to that, you also have to make sure that you are, you know, paying attention in your analytics, your click-through rate, your retention, all that good stuff. But in addition to that, let's see here. What else? We were talking about the Zoom, and yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. So hopefully that brings you up to speed there, Moto Camping Stories. So, see here, Care of Design.
Super
Says any general tips for tutorial videos, which good in general search, but not so much in browse. It seems I struggle with CTR in browse with 50% retention. Absolutely. So when it comes to getting attention through the recommendation features in general, that includes your homepage and it includes suggested videos as well. When you're trying to get attention from there, it's a totally different game than search. And I mention this from time to time here in the streams, and I'm glad you brought this up because it gives me that opportunity again for people that haven't heard it. But basically, when you are targeting YouTube search, it's really easy. I mean, it's easier to get people to respond in YouTube search because they are going through the effort of typing in to the YouTube search bar, this is the content that I'm looking for. This is not the content you're looking for, right? But it's like, hey, this is the content that I'm looking for. And then it has a search results page that pops up. And when that page pops up, the only options they have are things that are somewhat related to that topic, maybe with a few, randoms inserted into there as well. But in most cases, it's somewhat related to the topic they're looking for. So it's really easy to get people to click there because they're literally looking for the videos that you made around that topic. Now, the difference is, when it comes to the recommendation features, is you are trying to grab attention from people that have no intention of watching your video. They didn't expect to watch your video. They're just logging onto YouTube looking for some stuff to watch, and you are being presented to them along with a sea of other content that the system is predicting that those people would also be likely to watch at that moment in time. So because of that, you have to think to yourself, okay, if I'm trying to reach people that are trying to, get more information in like web design and things like that, like you do, then in that case, you have to think like, okay, if somebody sees this thumbnail or this topic, right? Because topic matters, thumbnail matters, title matters from the outside. So when somebody, sees this thumbnail and title, then the topic that I'm making this video about, that thumbnail and title tells them, is that one, the step one, is that going to be something that, people that are into web design content in your case would be interested in? Yes or no? Of course, you're going to be making one that is yes. So we'll just say yes there. The next thing is, okay, now I have this thumbnail. So with this particular thumbnail, how can I make this grab the attention of somebody who is interested in web design? So little details that you can do for that one is, let's say that you're doing a tutorial on, I don't even know if people use like Dreamweaver anymore, but let's just say you're doing a tutorial on Dreamweaver or on Figma, I think is another one that you were showing on your channel at one point. But like in that case, making sure you have a little Figma logo in there, not little, but making sure you have a Figma logo in there so that people that are looking for that type of thing that might use Figma, if you're doing a Figma tutorial, maybe not introducing them to it, because if you're introducing them to it, then the logo wouldn't matter. But if you are trying to reach people that that already know about Figma, but you're trying to teach them some stuff about Figma, make sure you include the Figma logo, right? So then right out of the gate, they can identify that logo is something that they are already interested in. It's familiar to them. In addition to that, any other imagery that you can use in your thumbnails to help them identify that your content has something to do with web design, and making sure that you can identify what that thing is. So for example, when you put your thumbnail together, and we all have to do this, when you put your thumbnails together, instead of putting it together and thinking to yourself like, okay, this is good, this kind of explains, what the video is, you got to first make sure that you remember that your thumbnails and titles work together as a team to win the click. But in addition to that, you also have to make sure that you can define the things that will trigger people or the things that will grab people's attention from the recommendation features. So for example, when you put a thumbnail together, you have to make sure that you're thinking, okay, if YouTube were to show this to somebody on the platform, let's say a web designer hops onto YouTube, and when they open their YouTube homepage on their computer, then YouTube's going to show them all these thumbnails. So what out of this packaging that I'm putting together in terms of my thumbnail here and the title, what about these two things are going to, one, grab their attention? This is something related to what it is that you care about, right? And then from there, you also have to think of the title in terms of, okay, so this is the thumbnail, this is grabbing their attention, this is helping them identify this is something they might want to watch, something they might be interested in. And then if their eyes go down to the title, then in that case, I need to reinforce that or think of how I can be as compelling as possible in order to get that person to, to click on what it is that you're doing. So, we all have to go through this exercise when we're publishing content. And the funny thing is is when it comes to like the different feature or the different places on YouTube that you get views from, like, YouTube search, it's great. Because like with YouTube search, it's extremely consistent. However, the huge spikes that you get in virality, so to speak, or even minor virality with a video, that comes from the recommendation features. So when it comes to where you're targeting your content, like if you're trying to get content to show up in search, that's one thing. And if people respond to it, they'll still test it and try to get, they'll show it to people elsewhere. But basically, you want to make sure that you are being intentional. In your case, because I know, your channel, but I would basically put out some content that is made for like, okay, I'm targeting these very specific search terms. And then I would also try your hand at like, hey, you know what? I'm not targeting YouTube search in any way, shape, or form for this. All I'm doing is I'm trying to get the person that is interested in this type of content to identify that my content's something they care about and trying to get them to click on it regardless of where they see it on the platform. I don't care if it shows up in search or not. So basically have some that you're intentionally going after search for, some that you're intentionally going after the recommendation features for, and the stuff that you're going after the recommendations features for, spend some extra time on the packaging on that one, because that's how you're going to be able to, to increase the amount of recommendation traffic that you're getting. And if you have any questions about that, just shoot me a message on Volley. So let's see here. So next up, as we keep on going down the list here, let me refresh my page, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. So Salad Cream Boy, what's up, man? Says, hey Nick, past the point of posting the video, what are the advantages of keeping footage stored? I see lots of creators keep terabytes of footage. I have tons and tons of footage too. So basically the purpose of that is if you do decide to repurpose some of the content later, if you decide to grab some clips, out of the content later and you just want the raw footage to work with, in some cases, like let's say that you are a travel vlogger and you're traveling around, you're getting all these like really cool shots and things like that. Or let's say you're a family vlogger and you're getting some really cool shots of, some of the stuff that you're doing with your family, but things that people might buy from you in order to use them in like other types of media. Then in that case, you want that footage so that you can have that available in the event somebody hits you up to license that content from you. And licensing content is another arm of monetization that content creators can do if your content is appropriate for it. So that's the reason that people store, make all or have all that storage. Like in my case, with all the storage that I have, like technically I could just give that hard drive or those hard drives and be like, hey, make me like 1,000 shorts out of this stuff, right? And then, like as those were coming in, then they would just all be like remixed stuff, from the past, anything that would still be relevant and whatnot. Then I could technically have all that stuff converted into shorts. And as I'm saying that, like I should probably do that actually. But the idea though, is just so that you can, make sure that you do have that, have that content to work with in the event that you need it. Terrestrial Vibes, what's up, man? Hope you're doing awesome. Hannity, nice to see you in here as well. Hope you guys are doing great. So let's see here. So next up, we've got, I can't say the name of this one because it looks like it might be, what is that? Is that Japanese? I think that might be Japanese, Chinese. But it says, how can you get 1 million views on one video as fast as possible? I have a gaming channel with 6,500 subscribers. What niche should I choose? So if you're trying to get 1 million views on one video as fast as possible, it's going to come down to your ability to make excellent content that causes people to share that content like crazy. So it needs to be something that, one, people enjoy when they watch it and they watch it to completion. So as soon as the video starts, you've grabbed their attention. You have hardly any drop at all in your retention at the very beginning. You have pretty much a flat line going across the whole video. And then once they get to the end of your video, they end up clicking on, whatever it is you recommend to them in your end screen, maybe, a card that you might have at the end of your video. But basically, they're clicking on those things. They're watching more of your content as they're interacting with, everything that starts at that particular video. They're sharing that video out. They're sharing the other videos out when they go and watch those. Like those are the things that will cause you to get, that will cause you to get 1 million views. And in addition to that, your click-through rate also has to be spectacular as well, because of course you got to get people to click on it. But basically, if you can keep people clicking on it at a very high, not just competitive, but at a very high rate, then in that case, if you can do that, plus give them a great experience to where YouTube just detects people are loving this, then in that case, they're just going to keep showing it to people, and all of that will happen really fast. But the sharing part is really important. Like if you're wanting that to happen like super fast, because then in that case, when people are sharing content out, then you're starting all these sessions. So basically on YouTube, there's watch time and there's session time, right? So watch time is like how much time you're generating like per video. Session time is like how long are you keeping people on the platform? How long are you keeping people engaged, right? And then when you start all these sessions because people are sharing your videos out because they're awesome, then you have all these people coming into YouTube because of you and starting their sessions on your channel right there, and then hopefully getting lost in YouTube, which is ultimately what you want, but even better if they get lost in your content. So if you're trying to get 1 million views, that's the type of things that you need to look for. Or just something really shareable, and then you share it on Reddit or something. And then, you know, if it's like a broad audience thing, like, for example, like, and what I mean by broad audience is if you go to like trends.google.com right now, you're going to see all the stuff that's trending in the world right now. So basically you would just pick a handful of those things. In your case, because you're on gaming, it'd be a little bit different. But basically, if you're just trying to, you know, hey, I just want views, then in that case, going after, you know, topics that are trending so that you have that heightened amount of interest, you know, in that moment in time, that is also helpful for getting videos to spike. So next up on our list here, as we keep on going down this list here, Renee Ritchie, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing great. Let's see. So I'm going to scroll down here, make sure I got everything. Okay, so Tysa Crypto, super chat. Thanks for the super chat. Says, hey man, I have a crypto news channel at 775 subscribers. CTR is over 10, and my watch time over 50%, but not getting as many views as competitors. Thoughts? So here's the thing. So one, your click-through rate is going to have to be higher compared to the impressions that you're getting, because if everybody else is doing better than you, then that means even though you have 10% and 50%, that you're just not, you know, at the pace that they are. In addition to that, make sure that when you are looking at your click-through rate, and I mentioned this, and I'm going to reference this again. So at the very top of the page, I have a short, and that short is just a funny one about Amazon Alexa. But I have another short on the channel. It was actually the first one that I loaded to this channel. And on that particular short, I show you where to go to find your traffic sources report for each individual video and where to look at your click-through rate there. And the reason that you want to do that is because, like in your case, you have 775 subscribers. There's a really good chance that, you know, some of those people hit your channel page, they'll be watching other content, things like that. And because of that, it can cause your click-through rate to get artificially inflated if you're just looking at it from that upside down triangle view that they give you, that quick view. You want to actually dig into your traffic sources and see what your click-through rate is from each individual traffic source. So for example, you might find that your click-through rate is going to be higher in search. You might find that your click-through rate might be very low in suggested, or it might be very low in browse features, and therefore you're just not getting the reach that you should be getting. So one thing that I do notice with crypto channels, not all of them, but some of them, like a lot of people are using like templates and things like that for your thumbnails. Like, don't do that if that's something that you're doing, because that's working against you. If you are, doing that type of thing, make sure that you're just being intentional with every single video that you upload, with every single thumbnail that you upload, every title. Try not to be, just overly repetitive with what it is that you're doing. So it's just clear to anybody that's interacting with your content that each video is something they haven't seen before, to try to get them to, come back into it. But at the end of the day, go into your traffic sources and figure out where that click-through rate is coming from, so that you can make sure that the 10% that you're seeing is like a real 10% and not just an averaged out 10%, and a real 10% from like a traffic source that matters. Let's see here. So as we keep on going down the list, Kitty, hope that you are doing fantastic. Welcome to the stream today. Chantel, what's up? Hope that you're doing awesome. So let's see here. So we're going to keep on going through this list here. I'm going to hop back into the form, and we're going to answer this next question out of the form. Zaggy DK in the house. What's up, my dude? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. Says, let's see here. So we already answered one from that person, so we're going to move on to the next one. That was the Arrow pilot again. So the next one is from Keyboard. Clever spelling there with the 3 as the... well, it's keyboard. Got it. Okay, so it's basically keyboard, like board, right? Nice. Love it. Anyway, mobile, they do everything on the phone. They do gaming and edits, and the goal of the channel is to make people happy and find good content. And the question, I started my YouTube channel 9 days ago and it already has 31 subscribers. My goal one day is 100,000 subscribers. How can I get more people to watch my videos and subscribe? So how many people here are just getting started on YouTube? So they started 9 days ago. How many people here, just say me, how many people here have started a YouTube channel within the last 30 days? If that's you, let me know. And everybody else, while I'm waiting for those to come in,
if you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Okay, so we got Natasha. Let's see here. We got Natasha. We got Nick Plays. We've got Sweet Tea. Let's see here. What else? We got Raichu. We got Quote at You. We've got Rich Graham. We've got Tysa Crypto, Petty Talks. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown on what you need to do in order to thrive here on YouTube. So basically when it comes to YouTube, if you're wanting to, get a play button, you're wanting to have this as like a long-term sustainable thing. Not just like, hey, I've got a hit or I've got like 2 or 3 hits, but like, this is going to be a long-term sustainable thing. I'm going to do this for a while, either as a hobby, as a side hustle, or I'm going to do it professionally as like, hey, I'm going all in on this. Regardless of the approach that you're taking, the rules that we all have to follow are all the same. And those rules are, you have to learn how to give the viewers that you're trying to reach a great experience with your content. You do that by making your content easy to identify from the outside, making it compelling from the outside. And by the outside, I mean your topic, title, and thumbnail, the stuff that people see before they actually get into your video content. You have to spend a lot of time in that area when you're first getting started, because especially if you're just getting started, because you got to learn how to get people to click on what it is that you're doing. Because if you can't get past that first hurdle, then it doesn't matter how good your videos are. If you can't get people to click on them, then you lose, right? So because of that, you have to make sure that you're dedicating that time to learning how to get people to click, doing tons of experimentation with your thumbnails. Like, don't commit to anything when it comes to your thumbnails or your titles in terms of structures, in terms of branding, things like that. Right now, experiment like crazy, do all kinds of different stuff. Even if you think, I don't know if this is going to be appropriate for the type of content that I make, try it anyway. And the reason that you want to do that is because by experimentation, you're going to end up uncovering what the people that you're trying to reach respond to at the highest rate. Okay. And that's what you want to do. Now, the next thing you have to think about, and again, these are rules that we all have to follow as content creators. The next thing that you want to think about is, okay, once they click on this, if I can get them to click, then the next thing is what's going on with my video. And what you want to make sure that you're doing is when you're putting your videos together, you want to make sure that you're defining each part of your video. Why would this be valuable to a viewer? Why would this matter to the person that's watching this? Why does this add to the video? And literally go through your videos with a machete, so to speak, an editing machete, and cut out anything that doesn't add relevance to the video, doesn't add to the viewer experience, any of that. Like, just cut it out, any of the bloat, because it's not necessary. What you want people to click on your videos. And when there's something called your audience retention report. So with every single video, YouTube gives us a second-by-second graph of how people respond to our content. So what you want to do is you want to go and you want to look at that, and you want to use that as your guide on how to make better content or how to get people to respond better. So what you want to do is you just want to look for drops, right? Okay, these are places where people are dropping. These are places where people are skipping, large amounts of the content, and you want to basically use that information to make better content. But once you get people to enjoy the content, the next thing that you want to do is it's really important that YouTube, the system, that it understands that people are enjoying your content. One of the ways that it shows that people enjoy your content is, when people are liking your video. So of course, just randomly somewhere in your video, give people a reason to hit the like button. So for example, like, hey, if you agree with that, hit the like button. Or, hey, if you like this color too, hit the like button. Or, hey, if you've played this game before, give me a thumbs up, like that kind of stuff. And then same exact thing goes for your comments. Instead of just telling people, you see a lot of YouTubers, and especially when you're getting started, you see a lot of YouTubers that are like, hey, hey, welcome to another video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, buy my merch, share this with a buddy, send me something in my PayPal. Like, there's this big catalog of stuff that they have to go through before the videos start. none of that adds anything to the viewer, right? So you want to space all of those things out in your video if you're trying to, increase the amount of engagement that you're getting. So make sure that you just randomly drop the like in there, but give them a reason. So basically the like is an answer to a question. Same exact thing goes for a comment, and just ask a simple question that they can answer in the comments. Like, hey, this is the red one. Let me know what your favorite color is down in the comments. Or, hey, let me know if you've ever beaten this part of the game in the comments or any special tricks that you have for it. Hey, if you've ever made, this type of music, if you have a music channel, if you've ever made this type of music, if you're teaching people about music, if you ever made this type of music, or, whatever type of music you would like me to make next, let me know in the comments, that kind of stuff. But in addition to that, you want to do those things in order to get your engagement up. And then you also want to try at the end of your videos to not let people know that your video is coming to an end. And the reason that you want to do that is because you want people to hop over to another video. So make sure that you're using the clickable in-screen elements, and you'll find them as part of your upload process. You have clickable in-screen elements that you can add to all of your videos. Make sure that you use those, and make sure you think about the relevance of the person watching the video that they're coming in on, right? So what you want to think about for all of you that are just getting started is for somebody that's coming into your video, they're proving that they're interested in what it is that you created by clicking on it and watching it, especially if they watch it to the end. So what you want to think about is the person that's coming in on this topic, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what type of content you make. If they come in on this topic, what is the next video or a playlist of content that I can lead them into that's relevant to what they've already proven to be interested in by clicking on this video? And then you want to recommend that they do that. Watch this next, go into this playlist next at the end of your videos to try to get people to watch more of your content. By doing all of those things, what you're doing is you're proving to YouTube, you're making it easy for people to find your content, you're making good content, and you're making content that gets people to click on it. All of those things are required in order for you to do well here on YouTube. Another thing, if you're just getting started as well, Viper, man about tech in the house. What is up, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. Nice to see you in the stream. But the next thing you want to make sure that you're doing as well is always think of your viewers first. Of course, you want to make sure that you're doing the things that you enjoy doing, but if you are uploading content and you're expecting views and subscribers and all that good stuff, you have to remember that you're making content that you enjoy, but you're making it for other people to enjoy. So just make sure that you're keeping that in mind with everything that you're putting together. Make sure that you make it easy for other people to find your content by using your pinned comments, by using your end screens, by using, the cards that pop up, the little info cards that pop up at the top of the screen, so that you can just direct people into more of your content, because you want people binging your stuff. And another thing that I want to tell you is, if you're just getting started, because my question here for those of you that are just joining the stream is, I asked how many of you started a YouTube channel in the last 30 days. We had a nice amount of people, so I'm just giving them some tips. So the next thing you also want to make sure that you're thinking about is, if somebody comes and they watch one video, and this is really important when you're getting started, especially, it's always important, but it's the most important when you're getting started. If somebody comes in and they watch video A of yours, right? Let's say it's the first video that they came into ever. Then the next video that you publish on your YouTube channel, would it be relevant to that person that's watching the video that you just published, right? So basically what you want to think about is, okay, if people are going to be interacting with my channel needs to be based around a certain topic, so that every video I publish is relevant to the people that I'm trying to reach. And when you do that, then that allows, or that makes it possible, or that creates the environment for people to binge watch your content, which is, again, is another signal to YouTube that people really dig your stuff. And one more thing I want to tell you too, if you're just getting started, before we move on, start answering some more questions. If you're just getting started, one more thing that I want to tell you is, it's really easy to get discouraged. It's really easy to look at other people who make content like yours, and you'll see people that are doing better. You'll see people that are doing worse. But either way, in your brain, you're going to look at the ones that are doing better, and you're going to think to yourself, why are they doing better than me? And that's a great thing to ask. But don't obsess over it in terms of like, hey, my thumbnails are better and my videos are better and all that stuff. Don't even worry about that, because you don't know where they're getting their traffic from. You don't have access to the back end. And even though you might think that their thumbnails are not as good as yours, or their videos aren't as good as yours, the data behind their channels, if they're doing better, would support that their stuff currently is better than yours at this moment in time. So because of that, you just have to make sure you're keeping that in mind, and just try to make sure that you're just not getting lost in those types of things. when it comes to YouTube, the core of everything, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about YouTube for hours. However, at the end of the day, all the information we're going to talk about today, in terms of, this, when we're talking about getting views and subscribers and all that, it all comes down to you making awesome content that you're able to get people to click on, that adds value to the people that are interacting with it. That's it. And by awesome content, I mean content that people will enjoy for a high percentage viewed. So basically, you get a certain amount of time that people will watch your videos. You want to get that as high as possible. But if you think of the viewers first and you just focus all of your efforts on coming up with, good ideas for the actual videos, because the topic matters, getting them to click on it and then giving them a great experience once they click on it, then you'll do awesome here. But if you're like, I'm just going to do my thing and I don't care, I'm going to be the unicorn and those rules aren't going to apply to me, I really encourage you to not take that approach, because some people do, but I really encourage you to not take that approach. I do encourage you to absolutely have fun, but also make sure that you are being intentional about what it is that you're doing, okay? Because by doing that, you're going to be taking the right steps in order to make sure or ensure that you're going to end up getting views and subscribers and all the things that you want from being a content creator. So just make sure that you keep all that stuff in mind. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we're going to hop back in here and start answering some more questions. So the next question that we have here on our list is from, did we finish Keyboard here? Started 9 days ago. Yep, that whole thing. See what you started, Keyboard. So next up, we've got Kayfabe Club. Kayfabe Club says that they do pro wrestling discussions. Goal of the channel is to discuss pro wrestling news and ideas. Goal achieved, because you have the channel about it. The question is, started my YouTube journey near the end of December 2021 and currently close to 600 subscribers. Nice work. Says, my next step is channel monetization. My question is, what expectations should I have? Will I notice any changes in my channel when monetization starts? Are there any trends of channel growth when a channel gets monetized, or it doesn't matter? I don't know what worth my niche has on YouTube. Therefore, I have no idea how much money I could be making. Love your content, Nick. Thank you for the kind words. And when it comes to you being, when it comes to you getting monetized, there isn't, once you become monetized, your channel doesn't just all of a sudden start doing better. When it comes to video performance, it doesn't matter if videos are monetized or not, unless they get demonetized. That can impact performance. But in terms of, the actual, hey, I published a video, it didn't get demonetized. It was a safe video in terms of it, it wasn't put in restricted mode because it was a controversial topic. With those outliers out of the way, right? Then it doesn't make, any impact whatsoever. So what you're going to need to do is just keep doing the thing that you're doing that's going to get you into the partner program. Just keep doing that and you'll be fine. But in terms of what to expect, I do want to let you know that typically ad rates are relatively low in terms of you're going to need a decent amount of views in order to get, a decent amount of income from YouTube. Some niches have higher CPMs than others. However, no matter what it is that you're doing, you're going to have to get a decent amount of views. If you're wanting it for side money, then not that big of a deal. But if you're I want to live off of this, then, you're going to need to get a decent amount of views in order to sustain that. Of course, that's going to be dependent on, the lifestyle choices and things like that. But you're definitely going to need to make sure that that you are getting, a decent amount of views. But you're off to a great start though. So, you started in December 2021, near the end, and you're already at 600 subscribers. I want to let you know here, Kayfabe Club, that it took me 5 months. When I first started my YouTube channel back in September of 2014, it took me 5 months to get my first 150 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So just some reference there. I mean, the whole thing's different now, right? The whole platform's a little bit different, but just letting you know in terms of, the pace that you currently have, you're doing awesome. So keep it up. So let's see here. So next question that we have on our list is from another one from Keyboard. So let me switch over to the next one here. LHN Family Gaming says they do gaming content. Goals to eventually go full time. Hey, really quick. I just want to take a moment here really fast. Let me find it here. So Amy here, she just crossed 5,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. So I just want to give you a high five and fist bump to you, Amy, for crossing that milestone. Nice work. If we can just get a little applause there for Amy for hitting her first 5,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. Nice work. So let's see here. So next up on the list here, Okay, LHN Family Gaming. Okay, so the goal is to eventually go full-time. I almost got sidetracked. That was close. Hey, Ash, hope you're doing awesome, man. Welcome to the stream. So the goal here is to eventually go full-time. And the question is, we're currently at 330 subs, and I've started setting up monetization outside of YouTube, like you've said. I got Amazon affiliate links, created a merch shop at Spreadshop. I created a Buy Me a Coffee account. Is it too much to throw a Buy Me a Coffee logo and support message in a lower third, or should I just let it live in the description of each video? Thanks, Nick, for all you do. Love your content. Thank you for the kind words. So when it comes to trying to get donations through Buy Me a Coffee. There's another one too called Ko-Fi, because I know that Buy Me a Coffee had some problems, or they stopped using PayPal. So I don't know if that's going to matter to you or not. But just a heads up, there is an alternative called Ko-Fi. But Buy Me a Coffee is great too. But if you need PayPal, you might want to go over to Ko-Fi for that. But in terms of throwing up a little lower third, trying to get that support. When it comes to doing any of this stuff, when it comes to selling merch from your channel, when it comes to affiliate marketing from your channel, when it comes to trying to get people to, go into your Patreon or your Buy Me a Coffee or your Ko-Fi, whatever the thing is that you're using, or any other thing that you're trying to spread awareness about on your YouTube channel, it all comes down to you got to spread awareness about it, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to watch your video, but they're not going to go down to your video description. Most are not going to go down to your video description. So one idea that I like to share is that when it comes to what's going on in your video description and how you're spreading awareness about things, there's a passive approach and there's an active approach. So the passive approach, what is going on there? I think I don't have this on loop. But anyway, the passive approach is to where you put the links down in the description and then they're down there. And then if somebody ends up, clicking on those links, then that's fine. But, you're waiting for people to go down and find those links on their own. They don't even know they're down there in a lot of cases. And because of that, there's no real reason for them to even go down to the video description. But for you guys that are hanging out here, you should be taking a different approach if you want to increase the, the amount of merch you're selling, if you want to increase the affiliate sales that you're making, if you want to increase the donations you're getting, all that stuff. And that approach is an active approach. And there's different ways that you can do this, but basically one is to simply let people know that you have links down in the description. So like in your case, if you had that lower third and then you could say, link in the description, that would be enough. And what you're doing there is you're just letting people know, hey, I've got this available and there's a link down in the description for it. So you're telling them exactly where to go. And in addition to that, if you didn't want it to be a, hey, buy me a coffee, support the channel, blah, 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 link in the description, then what you can do is you can also add additional things to your description that you can just let people know that you also have down there. So for example, a active way to get people to look in your description, or one active way, is to mention another video that you have in your channel that you can link down in your description. So then you can be talking about whatever, and then it would have to be a video that would be intriguing to the people that are watching the current video based on the topic, right? Something that would be relevant to them and relevant to that video. But what you would do there is you would just mention that video, like, yeah, I made a whole video about this. You're going to love it. I got a link to that down in the description. So feel free to check that out. And by doing that, what you're doing is you're actively telling people to go down into your video description and check out that particular link. So somewhere around that link that would go to that other video, that's where you would put the link to buy you a coffee or whatever that thing is, with a little bit of a message, somewhere around it that, lets people know, like why they should buy you a coffee or whatever the thing is. So, within that, you have, that particular approach. Now, in addition to that, you can also mention other random things in your video and just let people know that you have a link there. You can have a little graphic that just says link in description, for something that you mention on a regular basis, for example. Those types of things are ways that you can get people to go down to your description. So there's more. We're not going to spend a lot more time on it, but, you just want to make sure that you're considering, like, are you taking the passive approach or are you taking the active approach? If you take the active approach, then by doing that, you're going to increase your sales on everything because you're spreading awareness, right? That's the idea. So like, for example, here in this live stream, of course, I take questions directly from the chat, and I could take questions directly from the chat the entire stream. I could do that. But I use that form that's down in the description right now. I use that, one, to help me just manage it, and then also make sure that, people, if they're asking questions and all that, that they know, you're like, hey, there's a form down here. These are being answered in the order they're received, that kind of stuff. Sometimes I'll randomize the form too. But anyway, the idea is to get the question down in the form, and then some of these will end up on like podcasts or, other videos in the future, that kind of stuff. But another reason, a side reason for that form being down there is, for the people that want questions answered, if you notice this form, it's pretty far down in the description. So because of that, people have to click down in the description. They have to go and they have to look past all of this stuff looking for this form. And by doing that, I'm spreading awareness about all the other things that are down there in that video description. So I'm taking an active approach as well by doing that specific thing. So hopefully that helped.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Mana reads, welcome to the Nimminati. So just as a heads up, I want to let you know that when you get the chance, go to nimminvip.com. That is our members only Facebook group. And when you go over there, make sure that you fill out, that's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. And when you get over there, make sure that you fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a member. And if you can do that sometime before the stream is over today, then excuse me. If you can do that sometime before the stream is over today, then I can get you in there as soon as the stream is complete. Whoa. I don't know if you guys are seeing this or not. Hold on. Yeah, my player just went crazy. Holy moly. Yeah, it looks like it's stabilized now. So basically, I noticed that my macros, the thing that causes my cameras to switch, whoa, that was crazy. So the thing that caused my camera to switch, great, now it's a thing. So that's what causes it. Okay, so anyway, so one, I just figured out the thing that causes everything to have a problem. But two, I wonder if I can fix all of that right in here. But two, basically when I opened this software to do that, and it just did it again, it just scrambled everything. Holy, whoa. I'm watching this on the because I have like a little preview over here of what you guys are seeing over on YouTube, and man, that was like a wow, yeah, that was like an ordeal there. Okay, so anyway, hopefully it doesn't end up glitching like crazy. Too bad, that was nuts. But anyway, so we're just gonna keep on trucking here and see how this goes. It's like a horror movie. Yeah, maybe I was getting abducted by aliens. Like they're trying to suck me out of here, but the roof is preventing me from going through. All right, so let's keep on trucking here. So let's see here, monetization outside of YouTube. Okay, so we got that one covered. So, Salad Cream Boy says, how much coffee have you had today? Enough to cause this thing to glitch like crazy, I guess. No, yeah, so I had one of these when I woke up, and then I had a Starbucks on the way home, and then this is my my stream one here. So let's see here. So Roadsters TV EN is the name of the next channel here that we're showing. And hey, really quick, Creative VFX. What we're doing right now is I'm answering YouTube questions. So if you're a YouTube content creator, you got questions about what it is that you're doing on YouTube, this is a great place to be hanging out for that. Basically, I'm answering questions that are in the form that is down in the description below. And I'm also later here, a little bit later in the chat, coming up soon. We're also going to be pulling some questions directly out of the chat as well. So just a heads up, these are everybody hanging out here is a YouTube content creator. They either are already a content creator or they're wanting to be a content creator. So you're amongst your folks here, so to speak, in terms of other content creators. So welcome to the stream. So let's see here. So let's see here. So Roster's TV. So let's get back on that one. So the goal of the channel is to become the first motorcycle channel in the world. I hope that you mean like the top, because there's definitely more motorcycle channels, but I hope you mean like the best motorcycle channel. But the question is, hey Nick, the English version of my channel launched Monday. It's doing quite well. I was wondering, I'm currently having lots of views, 1,000 for the first vid, but only 40 subscribers. Is that normal since it's the first video? And should I be happy getting that many views? Or is there some problem in my call to action? Thanks a lot. So first off, out of the gate, one thing, because we've had a couple of questions here about subscribers and people, wanting to know about the subscribers. So a few things that I want you to know. One, yes, you do want to get subscribers on your YouTube channel because that shows YouTube that people enjoy your content enough to subscribe. Two, another thing is, the more subscribers you get, the more features it opens up, things like that. You, of course, can qualify for the awards in terms of play buttons, that kind of stuff. You can also get the community tab. You get into the partner program where you can start making money, that kind of stuff. So getting subscribers is important. However, getting views is more important. And the reason that getting views is more important is because when people are interacting with your content, if they enjoy your content, then what is going to happen is YouTube is going to continue to present your content to people as long as they keep enjoying it. So let's say somebody came in, they interacted with your channel, they had a great, experience with your content, YouTube identified that, Therefore, you publish your next video, the people that were the most engaged in that video that, they just watched, when you publish your next video, those are going to be some of the people that YouTube is going to predict that are going to be the most likely to engage in your content. So they're going to end up seeing your content. You can see this yourself. If you go and you start a brand new YouTube account right now, and you go in, you pick any channel on YouTube, you watch like, 2, 3, 4 of their videos, probably, 2 or 3 will do the trick. Then if you just close it down, walk away, and then you log in tomorrow around the same time, then what you're going to see is you're going to see that YouTube is going to present to you some content from that other channel that you watched and engaged with. So, that's how it works. So because of that, you got to make sure that you are focused on views, but you also are that you got to get the subscribers too, because that unlocks things. But at the end of the day, like, focus on the views more than anything, man. So basically, since I turned this thing on, like, this thing is just going nuts. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to, and this is probably going to like glitch out on me again. Man, when I open that up, yeah. Woo. Okay, so I turned the macro completely off. Let's see if this ends up, fixing it or not. Holy cow. This is so funny. Yeah, so basically what's happening is, like, I have software on my computer for that runs the camera switching and stuff. And then when I open that up, that's where the glitch happens. That's where it starts going like and starts like freaking out all over the place. So now I guess I'll just have to like manually hit it, I guess. But you can see there's even like a minor glitch here, even when I manually hit it, which is kind of interesting, but it's okay. So we're just gonna keep rolling. Glitch City USA, absolutely. Welcome to Glitch City USA, where we have everything kind of glitching over on this side, everything glitching on this side, and everything glitching over there. We are accepting citizens, so if you're a live streamer and you are glitching, then right here in Glitchtown, USA, we would like to invite you, bring your family, and we'll just all have a glitch party and glitch out right here in Glitchtown, USA. Simply Andrews Auto Repairs, thank you for the super chat. Says just hit 1,300 subscribers. Thank you, Nick. Who's your favorite entertainment YouTuber? No education win. So first off, high five and fist bump to you for crossing your first 1,300 subscribers on your YouTube channel. And for me, Ryan George is my favorite entertainment YouTube channel. I just love the topics he covers. I love his comedy. Ryan George is my favorite at the moment. Been for quite some time, actually. Ron Strains and Things. What's up, man? Hope you're doing great. So your Artist Haven says, thanks, Nick, for bringing us great info every week, especially how to roll with it when things go awry on a live stream. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words there. Okay, so let's keep on trucking here since we got distracted by this whole glitch thing. So 40 subs, no call to action. Okay, we got that one covered. So next up, let's hop on to another question here. Next up on our list here, we've got Creative VFX again. Says, let's see here. The type of channel is 2D and 3D animation, animated stories, and motion comics. Interesting. Hey, I'm not sure the type of stuff that you do, but if you're looking for work, please send me an email or send me a DM on Twitter, Creative Effects. If you are looking for work, I would love to see the stuff that you're doing, because I actually need an animator. So the goal of the channel says, my goal is to make 2D and 3D animated stories, story-based videos, motion comics. And the question, sir, I've uploaded more than 100 videos. One of them got more than 10,000 views, but I'm not getting enough subscribers on my channel. What am I doing wrong? So if you go into your stats on your YouTube channel, you're going to see. So basically, when it comes to, what you're doing wrong on your YouTube channel, it all comes down to getting people to click and then making content that people enjoy, right? So if you are not doing one of those particular things, then in that case, then that's where you're going to end up, not getting past that point. So because of that, if you are not getting, that many views on your channel and people aren't subscribing and all of that, then you need to work on all of the foundational stuff when it comes to your YouTube channel, in terms of making sure that you have a clear value proposition, make sure that the animations that you're making are around or targeted towards a certain type of audience, making sure that the animations are good in terms of, people, when they do click on them, watching those animations for a fair amount of time, sharing them out because they're funny or, impactful to them in some way. You got to make sure that you're doing all of those things in order for YouTube to show your content to more people. In addition to that, I'm not sure, again, what type of animations that you're doing, but another thing that I would recommend to you, if possible, is to also try try to do some animations around things that are trending, as long as it fits into, you know, what it is that you're doing. And it doesn't have to be like movies and things like that. It can just be like topics in general that are trending, that kind of stuff, so that you can tap into that higher interest for the animations that you have. And in that case, if you are making really good animations, in addition to that, Reddit is also a fantastic place that you can share your content. If you're making really good, impactful stuff, sharing your content over there is a great spot for animations. So next up on our list here, we got Heckler in here, heckling. Hey, he's over here like in the side, like, hey, say something funny, right? But anyway, says they do gaming content, and the goal of the channel is Creator of the Year in Asphalt 8. Question: recently uploaded a video which was going just as usual for 2 to 3 days, but then it just blew up. I want to ask that did YouTube analyze the video for a few days, and when it noticed good CTR and average view duration than it suggested, is it how it works? So basically what happened in that particular case is that the system simply identified that people are clicking on it at a competitive rate for the, you know, the other content that they're suggesting to people. So they're clicking on it at a competitive rate, and once people did click on it, they enjoyed the content, and that translates into a bunch of different things. So basically, when somebody starts watching a video, YouTube is tracking everything that hit myself in the face with a string. YouTube is tracking everything that happens from that moment in time. So even little details. So like, let's say, for example, you open a video on YouTube, and then you open up another browser, or not even, you open up another browser, or you open up another tab to where that video falls into the background. That's being tracked, and they know that that's going on, right? So like, so for example, somebody's watching your videos just to like hook you up, and I'm not saying that's your case, but I'm just saying if somebody, you know, was, then in that case, you know, like YouTube would detect that, and that would be kind of like a lower thing, because in that case, they're not really engaging with it. They're just kind of like listening to it in the background, right? So, so the other things are, of course, you know, how much they're engaging with it through all the engagement metrics that you see in terms of average view duration, percentage viewed, in terms of likes, comments, adds to playlist, adds to watch later, people sharing it out, and like that type of stuff. All these things are all being tracked. And because of that, you have to make sure, or not, you don't have to make sure because you had a video pop, but basically here's what you want to do. Let's just stop all of that. What you want to do is you had a video pop. That video has clues all over it. So what you want to do is you want to go in and you want to see the numbers, right? You want to be like, okay, what was my click-through rate compared to the impressions that I got? What was my average view duration on this? What was my relative average view duration on this compared to others? You also want to make sure that you're looking at, you know, the total watch time that you're getting for it. You want to look at all the other engagement metrics. You want to look at how many people are clicking on your end screens once they got to the end to watch more of your content, how many subscribers that video generated, and so on. And basically what that video does is it's going to leave you tons of clues. So what you want to do is you want to go in, if you have a higher click-through rate compared to the impressions, if people watch that particular one for a much longer period of time than others, or they subscribed at a much higher rate, or they, you know, engaged in other ways at a much higher rate, then in that case, you want to go in here and you want to note all that stuff, but then you want to start thinking to yourself, why? Why did people click on this one more? Why did this particular topic resonate more with people on home pages that caused them to click on this more? Why did, when they started watching this video, why in the beginning of my video, why didn't a bunch of people leave there when they do on my other content? Why didn't they leave in this one? What did I do in that video? What did I say in that video? What did I show in that video in order to get those people to stick around? And you want to start trying to unpack as many theories as you possibly can about why you think that people responded in the ways that are reflected in your analytics. And then you want to start taking all of those different theories that you come up with, and then on the future content that you're publishing, you want to start testing those theories. And then over time, what you're going to uncover is like, okay, all the things that made this video work, I've unlocked it, and now I can get almost every video that I publish to do okay or to do really good on YouTube, you know, based on what it is that you're doing. So that's the approach that you want to make sure that you're taking. So next up on our list here, Heckler. Heckler's back there throwing tomatoes. Get out of here! Get out of here! So it looks like the glitch went down. Is the glitch gone? I think the glitch is gone. But I'm just sitting here like in the one shot. And that's unfortunate because I got like all these different things like all set up here in order to, you know, show a bunch of stuff here. And unfortunately, because it seems to glitch. Yeah, when I hit that, ooh, that was a weird one. Ooh, that was a good glitch right there. Ooh, that was a good glitch. Yeah, that was good right there. Okay, so Next up, we've got, let's see here. This is from Let's Try Making, but rebranding soon. Yeah, still glitching. And I think I triggered it again when I went and hit all the buttons. So we're just going to kind of let it sit here for a minute and just kind of see what happens. I'm actually going to kind of close this. Let's just completely close that and see what happens. Okay. So let's see here. So can you reboot the extreme? Yeah, I can. If need be, but I think I'm just going to leave it on the one shot and we're just going to keep on rolling as long as it doesn't get too bad. So let's see here. So let's try Making is the name of the channel. And the type of channel says it started as a how-to channel, but I'm transitioning to more of a vlog style day in the life vibe. And the goal is I want to free myself from financial dependence on the system. And the question is, do you have any advice on how to title weekly vlog style videos? The content focuses on my daily life with a focus on slow living, cooking, gardening, etc. So what you want to do is you want to focus on the topics that you're talking about. So even though it's all around you and it's around you cooking, and it's around you gardening and you doing all of these things, you have to think of the people that you're trying to reach. So the first thing you want to do is you want to think about, okay, with the type of content that I'm making, slow living, cooking, gardening, and so on, what type of person would be into that type of content? Where do they hang out on the internet? What type of income might they make? Like those types of things. But you want to break all that stuff down. The people that I'm trying to reach with this content, where in the world do they live? About what age would they, roughly be? Even though anybody of any age can enjoy anything, you still just kind of want to get a general idea, at least, of who it is that you're trying to go after with your content. So you can use that in your titles and your thumbnails and the topics that you're covering, things like that, in order to, resonate with those people. But at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to just optimize everything around the actual topic that you're covering in the video. So your video is not me gardening in the backyard. Your topic is, how to, plant, gardening, how to plant carrots, right? Or, something along those lines. So that basically when somebody sees that, then they have a reason to watch it by wanting to know the information that you're sharing in those particular videos. And then once they're in there, then, they get to see the style of, how you're putting your content together. And that's another thing to think about too, is like vlog style, it's just a style. So because of that, you still take a similar approach in terms of, how you grab attention and all of those things. So, so just make sure that you are thinking of like home pages and suggested videos. Like, okay, if this were to show up on somebody's mobile feed, if it were to show up there, then, like, why would somebody, stop and click on my video? And make sure you're being really intentional about it. Like when you're putting your thumbnail together, just think to yourself, okay, the imagery, the things that people can see here, is everything like, clearly visible to where it's not confusing to look at the thumbnail, but is there a clear focus point? And with that clear focus point, is that focus point something that's going to help people that are into gardening or cooking or slow living? Is that going to help them identify that this is something that they might be interested in, so that as they're scrolling through their phone and they're just looking at thumbnails and hitting a title every now and then, that thumbnail will grab their attention and stop them in their tracks, right? And then they're going to drop down to the title. Some of them will, a lot of them will. And then when they drop down to that title, you also got to make sure that your title is compelling as well, through making it about the viewer, right? In terms of, planting stuff in the garden, how to plant stuff in the garden, tips for planting stuff in the garden, like that kind of stuff. All right, so let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got quote at you says, and by the way, if you are coming in here, because I see a few questions, just as a heads up, I'm pulling the questions from the form that's down in the description right now. I'm going to be pulling from the chat here in just a little bit, but from right now, I'm pulling them from the form. So just as a heads up to that. So let's see here. Full comedy sorter. Oh, okay. So Simply Andrews Repairs also says, I went full comedy. Thank you for the super chat. Says, I went full comedy and sort of adult themed and started growing fast. If you ever feel bad, just try what you want to do and see what happens. Absolutely. And also like verify that it's sustainable too. So let's see here. So next up, we've got Quote at You. Quote at You says the goal is to get 1,000 subscribers. They do motivational content. The question is, are my thumbnails good? How can I improve using Photoshop? So I'm not going to look at your thumbnails, but if you go into your click-through rate information via traffic sources, you're going to be able to get a general idea of how people are responding to your thumbnails based on the amount of impressions that you're getting. And an impression just in case you're not familiar with that term, for those of you that are new, an impression is when YouTube shows your content to somebody on the platform, right? And they basically, your thumbnail has to be visible for a second, and it has to be fully visible. So even if it's at the bottom of the screen, just pops up there, fully visible for a second, that counts as an impression. So you want to look at your click-through rate compared to the amount of impressions that you're getting. And just as a heads up, typically, not always, but typically when a video starts getting, more views on it, it's harder to maintain higher click-through rates. So that's why you want to make sure that you're comparing it to the impressions that you're getting. In terms of improving using Photoshop, there's a gajillion tutorials on Photoshop on YouTube. I recommend you check out Piximperfect. The way that he teaches, at least for me, is just fantastic when it comes to Photoshop. But basically, I would just go Photoshop tutorials, Photoshop for beginners, Photoshop 101, like any of that stuff. And I would basically just start there. And of course, Adobe has some of that as well. But basically, I would just do I would just hop on YouTube and just start, watching tutorials on it. Thanks for the heads up there, Doug. I'm looking right now. Ooh, I did. Hey, thanks for the heads up there, Doug. So, okay, so I have two questions that came in that I didn't see come in on the Super Chat side. I'm going to answer them right now. So the first one here is from Craig's Outdoor Adventures. Thank you, Craig. Says, can you be successful uploading one video a month for those of us with busy work and family lives? And if so, should they be longer videos, like 30 to 45 minutes long? If you can make a 30 to 45 minute long video, you can do more than one video per month. Because, if you can do a 30 to 45 minute video, then you could break that down into 4 10-minute videos or a handful of 5-minute videos in order to get more content out. So if you do have the time to do a 30 to 45-minute video, then you do have time to get out more content if you wanted to. But in terms of, is it enough? So basically, if the content that you're putting out is like super high quality content, and when people do interact with it, that it basically shows YouTube through the numbers you're right on the back end and how people are responding to it, it shows YouTube that people are really loving that content, then yes, it'll be enough. Like there's channels on YouTube like Kurzgesagt, for example, I think is how you say it. But it's an animation channel, but it's super high quality, and like it's stuff that you would see like on like Netflix or something. Like it's really good stuff. And they put out a video like once a month or so, and they just get crushed. Lucas the Spider, who I don't even know if they're uploading anymore, because I think they got like a TV deal or something. Like they were doing like a video a month. There's just like a 1-minute video every month, and they were just getting crushed with views every time they would publish. So, it really comes down to the content that you're putting out and how people respond to that content. So technically, yes. However, in most cases, you're going to need to upload on a more regular basis. That's why I'm mentioning that if you can do a 30 to 45 minute video, that you can do more content if you have the time to do a 30 to 45 minute video. So what I would like, the problem I'd be trying to solve is not how do I upload one video per month. It would be how do I take this idea of a 30 to 45 minute video and how do I chop that up into sections to where each video can be its own standalone video, and then I can get out at least 2 videos per month, or at least a video like every other week, or maybe 1 week. Maybe you do 3 videos a month or 2 videos a month instead of the one. But another thing to think about too when it comes to this is, when it comes to your upload schedule, when you are uploading, 1 video a month, that gives you like 12 shots a year at having like your videos do well. And that's fine. Like, you can do that. However, if you're uploading, 2 videos a month, then you just doubled your chances. If you do 4, then you're quadrupling your chances of having, videos do well. And in addition to that, you're also working on the skill set, and that skill set is also going to help you, thrive on YouTube as well. So because of that, if you can work it out, I would definitely try to upload more if you can. Titan Crypto says, can a news channel be bingeable? The video lifespans are short. So technically, yes, but news channels, they do have that limited lifespan. So because of that, the content is usually only relevant at that point in time. However, people aren't always up to date with like what's going on in that moment. So because of that, some of your trailing content, so to speak, like a week later, things like that, it can still be relevant. But I would try to work in some type of content that is evergreen. And what evergreen is, if you're not familiar with that term, for those of you that are new, is evergreen content means that it's content that if you publish it today, it's still going to be relevant, 5 years from now, maybe even 10 years from now, that you can just publish it and then it'll be good to go. So what I would do as part of your content strategy is I would be like, okay, we're a news channel. about crypto, but we're also going to put some stuff on here that's evergreen. So for example, like the history of crypto, or getting started with cryptocurrency, like that type of stuff. That would just be good for as long as cryptocurrency is around, which will be for a long time. So the next one that we have here is from Floppy Sports. Sorry, my apologies. Floopy Sports says, "Hey Nick, just reached 3,000 subscribers and I got my first sponsorship deal thanks to your content and help. You are a godsend for the YouTube community. Thanks. High five and fist bump to you for hitting 3,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel and for getting the first sponsorship deal." So hey man, I'm going to give you a tip here really quick, just in case you haven't ran across it in another stream. So when you get somebody reaching out for sponsorships, since you just got your first one, so when you get people reaching out for sponsorships, make sure that you keep in mind that if they're reaching out to you, that they see value in what it is that you're doing, and they also know that your audience is a good fit for their products and things like that, because they've done the research. As long as you're working with somebody that's like reputable, like they've done the research, they know that your audience is engaged and all that good stuff. So that's why they're reaching out to you. So what you want to do is when they do reach out, you want to try to get a longer term deal. So anybody that reaches out for one video, try to, at the very least, work out like a 3 video deal. And in some cases, try to work out like a longer form deal. So the exercise that you want to go through in this case is you want to think to yourself like, okay, if I am going to do this deal for this product, one, if I worked out like a 3-month or a 6-month deal with them, what videos would I make to where I would be able to insert them into it? What type of deal, do I want to present to them in terms of, am I adding bumpers into my videos in terms of just like a little, insert here and there? Am I making dedicated videos, that kind of stuff? But at the end of the day, they're already interested in you. So all you have to do, and everybody here, make sure you're listening to this, they're already interested in you. So what you want to do is when they say like, hey, we want to sponsor a video, you want to reply with, hey, I appreciate you reaching out. Thank you. If you're interested in their products, if you are already familiar, things like that, then hey, I'm already familiar, with your products. I actually use, whatever the thing is that, they're offering, whatever. I actually have different packages that I offer, and this is part of your, email that you reply. I have different packages that I offer for my YouTube channel. I do one video, but you make it a lot more expensive, right? So it's like I do one video, but that video is going to cost, X, Y, Z. And what I typically do, or what I would like to do, or the thing that I think would add the most value to our collaboration would be, that's the nice way to say it, right? The thing that I think would add more value to our collaboration would be to do like a series of videos. And by doing that, what you do is you keep yourself off of the hamster wheel, because as a content creator, if you're constantly chasing deals, you're adding to your workload. But if you have a handful of stable companies, and a handful of companies that that you are happy to support, then in that particular case, you get to add value to that company by continually bringing attention to those products and services through your content. So if somebody does one sponsored video with you, if a company does, they have that one video, and that is the only chance they get to tap into your audience. So because of that, if that video doesn't do that great, then, one, that's going to reflect poorly on you. And two, that's also going to, kind of take the steam out of them in terms of like, well, that was our shot, right? So when you work out that longer term deal, that gives you extra chances as well to impress the people that you're working with or the people that reached out. So I really strongly recommend, for the sake of keeping yourself off of the hamster wheel and for the sake of making sure that you can spread the awareness needed in order to really add the most value to the companies that you're working with, in order to make sure that you're covering, both of those bases, I try to work out longer deals. So like with me personally, now these days I do 3 months as a minimum with my stuff. And then I try to do 6 months to a year with everybody that I work with. And the reason for that is it just makes it easy for me to focus. It makes it easy for me to focus on what it is that I need to do. And it also helps me develop deeper relationships with the companies that I work with as well, especially if it's people that are like updating their products on a regular basis and they've always got different things that they're doing. That gives me a better opportunity to, spread more awareness about them and just bring more value to them as well, while keeping me off the hamster wheel. So I really recommend that you give that a shot for the sake of, everything that I just mentioned. So Herbert Schiller, thank you for the super chat. Says about to reach 10,000 subscribers. Thanks for all the info. My YouTube is about programming, so a lot of screen sharing. Do you think I need to show my face? I rarely do. So first, high five and fist bump to you for hitting 10,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. Congratulations for your first 10,000. And in terms of you showing yourself on screen, if people are responding positively to your content, you don't have to if you don't want to. But if you're like, hey, let me, make a stack of videos, let me make 5 or 10 videos where I do show myself on screen and see if that helps anything or not. You might find that by adding your personality to it, you start causing more people to come back to the channel. You start, having people watch your videos for a longer period of time because you have more of a personality attached to it versus just having the screen tutorials. Or you might find that when you go on camera that people, for whatever reason, based on the type of content that you make, they're just coming in, they just want the raw information. They don't care about the personality. They don't care about anything. They just want to come in and get the actual information and that's it. Then in that case, you don't need to be on camera. So what I would do in your case, because it sounds like you've already been, because you said rarely do. So one thing, if you already have content with you on camera, go in and look at that content. So inside of your analytics, if you go into your advanced mode, there is a grouping feature, and within that grouping feature, you can put together okay, these are all the videos in this group that I show myself on camera. These are all the videos in this group where I don't show myself on camera. And of course, you want to kind of average it out, between the two. But then you want to basically compare those groups against each other and just start seeing how, what do people respond to most. And you can also do this at the individual video level, but you use that to just kind of look at all of the all the metrics around both stacks of videos so that you can figure out hey, at scale, when I'm on video, do people respond more? Or when I'm not on video, do people respond more? So that would be the approach that I would take to actually uncovering what the right thing is to do there. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, let me refresh this page here really quick. Okay, so let's see here. So as we keep going, let me go over to here, scroll down here. Okay, so next up, Simply Andrews Repairs says, Nick's group is the best, very friendly and helpful. Thank you for the super chat there and for the kind words. Super appreciate it. And let's see here. As we keep on going, we got Tommy T's Extreme Roller Coaster. Hey, Tommy, you're doing great, man. Says, does it make a difference if views you post, if you post a video right away compared to scheduling a video the next day? No. So basically nothing starts counting until you actually hit the publish button on that video. So once it goes public, that's where everything starts counting. But up to that point, it doesn't matter. So technically people can still come in and view the videos if you have them in a playlist, but it doesn't technically count until the video is actually public. Let's see here. So we got Herbert taken care of. L&D Home
Super Chat
says, finally hit 100 subscribers and got our custom URL. Slow progress, but it's still progress. Thanks for all the advice. Next goal, 500 subscribers. High five and fist bump to you for getting that first 100 and for being mindful enough and paying attention, so to speak, to go ahead and grab your custom URL too. So congratulations to you for that. Let's see here. So Contempo Coding says, I've got a big deal in process, and this is gold. Yeah. So okay. So if you have, a deal in process, so first off, you're a channel member. So I would definitely make sure that you are in our members only group. Make sure. So for all of you that are channel members, just as a heads up, we're actually testing right now. There's an app called Volley, and basically it's where we can send messages back and forth. And for example, if people have tech questions that are in the group, then they can just show hey, here's the problem I'm having, and then any of us in the group can hop in and help them out. There's a feedback thing in there, a place to share milestones, that kind of stuff. And then an area just strictly for YouTube. And in addition to that, if you have questions, you can just send me video messages directly, that kind of stuff. So just make sure that, because you're already a member, so just make sure that you're in there, get on Volley. If you, or once you get on Volley, if you're not already, make sure, send me a message. And then when I see that message, just tell me that, you're in the process of the deal. If you can give me a little bit of details, I might be able to give you some information on how to level it up. So if you are interested in that, just make sure that you just send me a message directly inside of Volley, since you are a channel member, and all that stuff. If you're in the Facebook group, all that stuff is going to be in there. There's a post in there, sharing all that information so that I can, just kind of give you some tips there on that. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, finally hit 100 subs. Okay, so we got that one taken care of. Now we're going to hop back into the form here in just a second. And hey, Travis MVP in our world. What's up, Travis? Hope you're doing awesome, man. Thank you for swinging by the stream today.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Travis is the voice behind the Welcome to the Nimminati, behind the Super Chat, behind our chill mode.
Welcome to the Nimminati chill mode.
Yeah. So thanks for those, my man. Super appreciate it. Hope you're doing awesome, Travis. So one thing, for those of you that are not familiar with Travis, you should follow him on Twitter. So he posts like videos there sometimes of like his like recording area and his like, you know, hangout area. He's got like all of these arcade machines like all over the place. It's awesome. It's like he's got like a whole game room. Super awesome. Super fun. Let's see here. So the Artist Haven says, is Volley just phone, or can it be accessed from the computer too? I'm looking for a way to get off Facebook. It can be accessed on the computer as well. So right now you can't see it because of my wallpaper that I have up right now over here. Still can't see it. Hold on. Oh, because it faded out, but it'll be back in. Yeah, because my wallpaper's here. But basically, Volley, it also has a desktop app. And you can do the same exact thing there to where you can just talk right into the camera there. You can also send text and all that stuff as well. It's just a little bit more personable when we do it via video. Okay, so as we keep on going through this list here, we've got... Okay, we did that one. And next up, we've got Lozy. Lozy says they do Minecraft gaming, and the goal of the channel says it's been a dream of mine since I was very young. And the question is, hey, Nick, I was wondering, do you have any advice for gaming content creators? Absolutely, I do. So when it comes to gaming content creators, you want to make sure that in addition to whatever game that you're playing, that you're also making some type of content that makes it easy for people to find your channel. And what I mean by that is when you're doing Let's Plays, because everybody's doing Let's Plays, it's really easy to get kind of lost in that sea of Let's Plays. So because of that, you have to make some type of content that's a little bit more discoverable. You don't have to, like, you know, depending on how good you are at the game, stuff like that, how good your packaging is in terms of your title and your thumb, like people will come in and watch your Let's Plays too. But at the end of the day, you want to make some discovery content, and a lot of it if you can. And the reason for that is because if you make a video showing people how to do something in a game, then that content has direct value attached to it. People are looking for that solution that you have, you know, provided them. When it shows up on a homepage for people that, you know, might be at that cusp to where they're going to need that solution, you know, they'll click on it, that kind of stuff. So basically, if you can add the into your content, some content that is going to add value to people in terms of showing people how to do stuff within the game, then that's going to help bring more attention to what it is that you're doing. In addition to that, other things like game guides, you know, things like that are also helpful as well. But you just want to think like, okay, what can I put together in addition to Let's Plays that I'm doing that will help, you know, that kind of creates doorways into my channel. And if people start responding to that doorway content, YouTube will keep showing it to more and more people. And then those videos will help drive your channel so that you can do, you know, more Let's Plays and things like that if that's something that you're, you know, that you're trying to do. In addition to that, as a gamer, you have a, you know, kind of a unique skill set to where, you know, everybody just through our brains, you know, we're all problem solvers. But you know, as a gamer, you see things a little bit differently. You know, you're constantly looking, you know, at patterns. You're constantly, you know, trying to, you know, figure out, you know, the certain techniques you have to do in order to, you know, hit certain achievements in games and stuff like that. And you're literally, every time you play the game, you're just kind of reinforcing, you know, your skill set there. So take that same exact skill set and kind of take a mindset shift when it comes to YouTube and start looking at YouTube like another game that you play, and start going into your YouTube analytics and start really looking at the numbers that you're seeing back there and start trying to level up all your numbers and start thinking about, as you start, you know, trying to level up your numbers, one of the patterns that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to start looking at, okay, these videos that do better than these other videos, what am I doing with my titles there? How am I structuring them? What's within the first 50 characters of those titles? What do my thumbnails look like? What colors am I using in my thumbnails? What characters am I showing in my thumbnails? Am I putting text on them? Yes or no? How much text? What fonts am I using? How big are the words? How many words? You know, like those types of things. But you want to make sure that you are paying attention to all of that stuff, but that you're using all of those skill sets that you have as a gamer, that you apply it to what it is that you're doing on YouTube. And that mindset shift, plus making sure that you're, making some discovery content just for some easy views, so to speak, is definitely an approach that you want to take. So let's see here. So next up on our list here. So there's a couple more I think that came in. Tutorials, we got that covered. Let's see here, about to reach 10,000. Got that one covered. Okay, so Henson's Homestead says, I just started my channel a month ago. I tried making a Facebook page for my channel, but could not make a video creator page. That option is removed. So I know that they took the video creator app out, but I think you have to do a page now, and then you have to use a different app if you're doing everything on your phone. I'm not sure, but you have to use a different app. Now it's the Pages app, I think, in order to get videos up to Facebook in the way that you're trying to do it. Facebook isn't my jam, so to speak. So there might be somebody else in here that might, be able to give you some better information there. If you're talking about YouTube, then, I could definitely go, I could give you some better information probably, but, Facebook is definitely not my jam. But I do know that on the creator side of Facebook that they did kind of depreciate, so to speak, the creator app. So you have to now go over to the Pages app. So let's see here. So we got that one covered. And I saw Simply Andrew said that I missed a chat here. I answered that one, answered that one. Okay, yeah, I think I'm caught up. So let's see here. So let's hop back into the form. And let's see here. So we got Losey taken care of. So, hey, if you're just joining the stream right now, what I'm doing is I'm answering YouTube questions. So basically, every question that we answer here, it's coming from the forum that's down in the description. Here in just a few minutes, I'm going to actually hop into the chat as well. So if you have a question, if you didn't get a chance to get into the forum yet, you can hold and you can just wait until I say, hey, drop your question. But make sure when you do put your question in there, don't do it yet, but make sure when you put your question in that you put a Q in front of it so that I can identify the questions for me and not a side conversation that's happening in the chat. So this next question here is from Adish. And the type of channel is a Minecraft only channel. And the goal of the channel says I want to create videos to gain more audience on YouTube. Begin a bit true. It's money, but also I like making videos. So the question, I get more views on shorts. Should I make more shorts or long form videos as my watch time is left still 1.2 thousand subscribers, 160,000 views on the channel. Short views don't come on long videos. And the goal is to complete it in watch time right now. Okay, so you're trying to get into the partner program and the shorts aren't helping you get there. So because of that, you need to make long form content if you're trying to get into the partner program for the long form content. Because, the stuff that's happening over in your shorts right now, it's not even counting. So because of that, you want to make sure that you are making the long form content. And when it comes to making the long form content, you have to do the same exact thing that all of us have to do, which is you're going to have to learn how to get people to click. You got to make sure that you're making topics that resonate with your audience over and over and over again for the people that you're trying to reach, so that if somebody watches one video, the likelihood of them watching another video and another video and another video is much higher, so that you start compounding watch time for not every viewer, but for the most engaged viewers that come into your channel. Next, let's see here. So this is question number 15. So we're cruising through these nicely. So this is from Max Smells. Max Smells, they have a fragrance channel. The goal of the channel is to grow the channel. And the question is, do the achievement awards that YouTube gives you have any significant value? No. Give me 1 second.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
So I got this right before they switched into the new one. I've got my brother's downstairs. It's actually still in the box. He's got a new one. I've got the old one. But these, basically all it is, this particular one, now it's just like a plaque that has that it's just like a thin plaque, and it's kind of like all one piece. So the one that I have, and I kind of like having an old school one, to be honest with you, for my main channel here. And the thing with this is it just comes in like a basic frame, as you can see, and then it just has it's kind of like just kind of like a sticker essentially that lays on whatever the thing is there in the background. And then this button right here, the little play icon, that's just like a piece of metal. So like in terms of like selling this, like no. If I wanted, in terms of, value, if I wanted to buy, because you can buy play buttons, like if I have one, which I do, then in that case, like if I wanted to buy an update or 10 updates, whatever, then I could. And they're $500 a pop in order to get an updated play button. So if I have this one and then I wanted a new one, then I could pay $500 and then they would just mail me a new one. So in terms of the actual value of these, this isn't something that you'd be able to sell because it's like, real silver or like anything like that. No, this is purely for the significant value is in the ego and in the flex. That's it. So that like, when you achieve it, you're like, oh, sweet, I got a play button. It just gives you that thing to strive for. And then once you hit it, it's like, yeah, okay, now I got to get a gold one, right? So outside of that though, it's not it's not a, like you can't really like sell them for, for any real value, any real amount of money. So really quick here, Barbara Lasser says, thanks for the super chat. Says, hey, Nick, how much to become a member and to join the Facebook group? So right now I just have one tier on the membership. I'm going to do another one here in the near future, but right now it's $5. And if you go into the video description right now, there's going to be a link down there to become a channel member, and then it will take you to a page. And when it takes you to that page, it's going to show you the option that you have. And then once you become a channel member, then at that point in time, you go to nimminvip.com. It redirects you to a Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, and then I let you in there when the stream is complete. So let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got Endless Money Pits. Endless Money Pit says that they do automotive DIY. The goal of the channel says I want a career in creating videos. So they're a full-timer. They're wanting to do this full-time. Says the question is, I have an automotive DIY channel and I can't find much advice that is suitable. Can you give me any tips for this type of channel? So for this type of channel, you have to play by the same rules that we all do, right? So basically, so one thing to keep in mind is, like a lot of people, and I'll get this in my comments too, where people will watch one video and then they'll be like, hey, can you make a video about cooking channels? And it's like, well, you got to follow the same rules. Well, can you make a video about gaming channels? Well, they got to follow the same rules. Can you make a video about, a finance channel? Well, they got to follow the same rules, right? So basically the things that, that we always talk about in terms of, getting people to click, making compelling titles, making sure that the content that you're making is relevant to the audience that you're trying to reach, and that you also make sure that you're focusing on, if somebody came in and they were to interact with this particular piece of content, the other content on my channel or the videos that I'm going to be publishing next, would it also be relevant to, those people? And if the answer is yes, then you're going to continue to have people coming back to the channel, and then you're going to start picking up some momentum. And if the answer is no, then you're going to end up out in this kind of like sea, so to speak, to where you'll have videos, that will pop from time to time and all of that. But because the content is inconsistent, which happens sometimes with automotive DIY channels or like homeowner type of channels, that kind of stuff, or just DIY channels in general. The homeowner channels, not really, but like the auto ones, it's kind of a problem. Let's talk about that. Okay, so basically the problem with automotive DIY channels is, if you have a video about how to fix the brakes on a BMW, and then you have another video on how to fix the brakes on a Honda, then the person that interacted with the BMW content, they don't care about the Honda video. So therefore, if YouTube ends up suggesting that Honda video to them, which they may or may not, if they detect that that person's clearly into BMWs, then in that case, if they did though, then that person's not going to click on that video, which then in turn hurts your click-through rate on that. But more importantly, if that person goes in on that BMW video on the fixing brakes, and then they go and they try to watch more of your content because they loved how you explained how to fix brakes on their BMW, they go looking for more and more BMW content, only to find out that you only have one or two videos about a BMW. So the problem that you end up running into when it comes to automotive DIY channels is that based on covering a bunch of different cars, you end up kind of reaching everybody, and that in turn can end up making you not reach as many people. So because of that, what you have to think about is you have to think about, with every single video that you publish, if possible, I mean, you're going to have to, be very specific on the cars, that you're going, so that people can know it's for the car that they have. But within that, try to make stacks of content for each vehicle that you do. So like, for example, if you are teaching people how to do the brakes on one car, try to do as many repairs on that car as you possibly can so you can store that content up, and then make a playlist of that content, and then make sure that in the end of each video for that specific car that you're linking in your end screen to that playlist of other content on that specific car that you're working on. And on your homepage, same exact thing. Make sure that you have your most popular content. So let's say, for example, if the content that's driving the most views to your channel is a Subaru, then in that case, what you want to do is you want to make sure that if that's the primary traffic drivers of your channel, it's getting more attention than anything else, all your Subaru content, make sure that that playlist is at the very top of your channel page as well. So if somebody's watching one video, they haven't made it to the end yet, then they click on your channel page to see what else you have to offer. Then they see that Subaru content up there at the top. And then of course, the things that are bringing, the second most attention to your channel, that would be number 2, number 3, and so on. And then of course, if you're covering a lot of cars because you're limited on space there on your channel page, then you can also make a playlist of playlists. And then when you do that, that'll show all of the cars that you're talking about. So just make sure that you are putting, each vehicle into its own playlist, and that you're making as much content about each vehicle as you possibly can so that it gives people a reason to binge watch, and then they can see your channel as a resource from all the content in that playlist. And then that gives them a reason to want to subscribe as well, so they can come back if they have a problem with their car because you've got it covered in that playlist. So if possible, either try to focus your entire channel on one type of vehicle or at least one brand. And if that's not possible, the type of content that you're doing, then think, instead of making one video at a time, start thinking of like, okay, I'm making playlists here. I'm not making just one video at a time. I'm making playlists that I'm going to be constructing for the sake of making this like its own little channel within the channel type of thing, so that I can be intentionally driving people to that playlist through my end screens, through a card, through an info card that pops up at the top of the screen, through a pinned comment that says, hey, by the way, if you have a Subaru, I've got a lot more videos that will help you with your Subaru. Click into this playlist here, and also adding those links down in your video description as well. So hopefully that helps. But in terms of like the things that's going to make your channel move, the same rules apply. Get people to click, make sure that everything that you're doing is compelling, that you're putting out, topics of videos that, people respond to, that you're trying to reach. And of course, once they go in and start watching the content, you got to make sure that they're having a good experience there, and you can see that experience reflected in your audience retention reports, which YouTube gives us for every single video. Let's see here. So, Natasha Desi says, I love the advice around playlist advice. I did this with my channel to organize my content to help me see what type of content that I enjoy making the most. Yeah, that's another way to use it. That's really smart, actually. But another way that you want to also think about this is you want to think about it from the perspective of making sure that when you are putting playlists together, that you're thinking of it from the viewer's point of view also. So like making playlists, you can make as many playlists as you want. So what you've already done is fine, but also start thinking like, okay, how can I also start putting this content together that's going to help the viewer find more of what they care about faster? And then, you can start linking to that content from some of the videos that you have and all of that based on the relevance of the content that they're watching. Let's see here. So as we keep on going on this list here, we've got, hey, really quick, new member, Barbara Laster.
Welcome to the Nimmin.
So make sure when you get the chance, like I mentioned previously, when you get the chance, go to nimminvip.com. That's our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are an actual channel member. And also, once you get in there, like I mentioned before, we're experimenting right now with using Volley for the group. So make sure that that you give that a shot as well. And with that, we can send video messages back and forth. If you have something specific you're wanting feedback on, then you can get that. And we're also still using the Facebook group as well. So because of that, just as a heads up, since you're a new member, there's also going to be a post at the very top of the group. Once you get in, you're going to see announcements. It's announcement number 7, I believe, but you'll see it says like members only something on it. But basically it's announcement number 7. And if you want any feedback on your channel, then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you go into that particular post, and you're going to see a lot of channels listed there. So what you want to do is you want to just scroll. I don't think you have to scroll, but you want to make a comment there, and you want to post a link to your channel and then let me know specifically like what it is you want feedback on. And the reason that you want to do that is because when I know what you want feedback on, I can cover that specifically first, and then I'll give you some more advice too, but that helps me make sure that I'm giving you the information that you're seeking versus just throwing a bunch of information at you. So, so when you go in there, like for example, if you need feedback on your thumbnails, just be like, hey, Nick, could you give me some feedback on my thumbnails? And then like that would be the thing that I would focus on. And then of course, I would go over some other stuff too. So just a heads up there. Okay. So, let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got, let's see here, career in creating videos, DIY channel. Okay. We got that. Okay. So, next up here, we've got, hey, thanks. The Artist Haven. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Sweet Tea Killa says, that's pretty mean, actually. Sweet Tea Killa. So basically that's a, like, so I feel bad for the tea. I mean, like if I'm being honest here, like I feel bad for the tea. But let's see here. So they do gaming and tech content, and the goal of the channel is to earn an income. And the question is, can you give your description? Can you give your description of the best ways to optimize videos to get videos ranked? I have Tubebuddy, and I've been using it for about 2 weeks. I'd like your opinion in addition to all the others that I've seen. So I have a video. I have a video on my YouTube channel about how to get views with Tubebuddy. So I recommend that you watch that. And the reason I want you to watch that is because in that particular video, I explain how people are using Tubebuddy wrong. And since they're using it wrong, then of course it's going to work against them. So watch that video and I actually take you through step by step how to actually use Tubebuddy. So, Simply Andrews repairs. Thank you for the test. Super chat there. And here's another one as well. Thank you for that one also. Says, hey, Nick, thoughts on adding channel name to the thumbnail? Seems like too much text to me. What's your thoughts? Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. The reason you don't want to add text to your thumbnails because it doesn't add relevance to the viewer and it's just too much. Like if you had an icon, like let's say for example you had since you're doing repairs, let's say that you had like a little icon of something that was in some way representative of repairs, and you just had a relatively small version that you would put down on the corner so that people that are already interacting with your channel that enjoy your content over time they would start to recognize that hey, they always put this in their thumbnails and that would help them identify your content. You can do that type of thing, but I wouldn't put the words down there. I wouldn't be like, Simply Andrews Repairs or TVR Creators or Albitastic or anything like that. I wouldn't put those words there because they'll distract people from the thing that matters the most, which is the thing that's going to bring attention to, or the thing that's going to help them identify that content might be something that they care about. So because of that, if you have an icon, then, that might, you might want to use that as long as it doesn't draw too much attention. But the thing that you want to make sure that you're allowing the space for in your thumbnails is all the other stuff that's going to be compelling for the viewer and help them identify that your content is something that they care about. Let's see here. So we've got that. Huh. Are you not in the back end here anymore, Doug? Let's see here. Okay, yeah, I think I'm up to date there. Okay, so next up on the list here, we've got let's see, we did that one. And next up, we've got Agent Murden. Agent Murden says they do Sea of Thieves gaming channel. How many gamers do we have in here? If you're a gamer, just say me. The goal of the channel is entertainment and helping others get better at the game. And the question is, as a gaming channel focused on one specific game, how do I add more games to the channel to diversify my content without losing my audience? So first, you want to make sure that you are trying to get feedback from your viewers. So the people that are already interacting with your content, you can ask them, like if you've crossed, I'm not sure if you've crossed 500 subscribers or not yet, but if you have, then you should have the community feed. If not, then I would wait and make that change until after you have the community feed. But once you have that community feed, you can ask them, hey, I'm looking for other games to play on my channel. Out of these games, and just give them like a list of 3, which ones do you also play, or which one do you like to see content on? You can make that post, and you can make another post that says something along the lines of, hey, I'm going to start, playing some different games on my channel. What would you like me to play? And then, you'll be able to see all the different feedback that you get in your community post from that as well. If you're not in the community tab yet, if you haven't hit that 500 subscriber milestone and you're like, hey, I want to change anyway, then in that case, what I would do is I would hop into like Facebook groups around the game. I would hop into subreddits around the game, or anything else, any other communities online that you can find about the game, and ask in there, hey, what other games do you guys play? And then have a spreadsheet open and just start collecting that data. Okay, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Fortnite, and just start typing it all in so that you can start figuring out, the things that the people that play that game also play at the other games that they play a lot. Alvy Cat Channel, thank you. I appreciate the thumbs up. Thank you. Yes, we got a decent amount of gamers in here, looks like. So we got Martonic as a gamer. We got Kiwi is a gamer. 5-0 Stevo is a gamer. We got Tempest 2. 5-0 Stevo. All VR. Nice. Putrid Talent is a gamer. We got Alpha Hog Gaming is a gamer. Kakaluikits, I'm not sure how to say that. I apologize. Is a gamer. So yeah, we got a decent amount of gamers in here too. Nice. Okay, so let's see here. So as we keep on going, we've got London Visited is the next question here. Then after this one, we're going to hop into the chat. So start getting your questions ready. Don't drop them yet, because if you drop them now, then I'll end up going past them. So get your questions ready, and I'm going to ask you to drop it here right after this question. So the type of channel is a travel guide, and the goal is helping people love London on a budget. And the question, started doing monthly live streams recently, splitting the show into two parts. One is events happening in London, editing this after for standalone video. Fantastic idea. And two is chatting with the community, having fun. And what would you say is the most optimal structure for a live stream to build viewer numbers? So here's what you want to do, especially in the one where you're chatting with the community and having fun. In that particular one, really all of them, what you want to make sure that you do is you want to make sure that you are thinking of the replay. So you're already doing that because you're editing some of the videos and that kind of thing. But basically, the reason you want to think about the replay is because when you are doing your actual live stream, then whatever you do is fine because, it's that live moment. That's when it's live. So, people are going to be coming and going throughout your live stream, and that's fine. But the way that you want to think about it is if you're going to leave it available for the replay, how can you structure it so that it's going to be a great experience for the people that are watching on the replay? Because that will be where you'll also get a lot of views. So because of that, what you want to do is you want to structure things to where you have a very clear cut point that you can go into the YouTube editor and cut off a whole front part of your video. So basically, if you're using your live streams to grow the channel. So for example, if let's say before you do your stream, you have like a countdown timer, and then after that countdown timer, you have just a little kind of chat session, hangout session where you're shouting people out, all of that. And then you let people know what it is that you're doing on the stream. And then let's say you have another little shout out session, and then you have an ad read or something like that. Cause I'm not sure where you're at in your journey, but let's say you have an ad read or something like that after that. And then after that, then, you start getting into the content. So what you want to do is you want to reset before you start getting into the content. And what I mean by reset is you would be, going through all that stuff like, hey, Doug Houston, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Albie-tastic, what's going on? Kiwi, nice to have you in here. And, today's, stream is brought to you by XYZ. And then you would say, and if you're just joining the stream, pause, short pause. We're talking about XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And you basically redo your hook there. And when you insert your hook there, the reason that you put that pause is because when you go into the YouTube editor, that's going to give you a little bit of wiggle room when you're actually making your cut, and you're going to have that cut point to where you can go in and when you cut off all of that shout out stuff, all that stuff that's not relevant to the replay, then you're starting it at the content. So you're starting it with the hook, which is, hey, this is what we're doing today, so that you inform people on, what it is that you're going to be taking them through, sharing with them, showing with them, hanging out with them, whatever. On the Hangout one, not as much. Your Hangout one's going to be kind of like this one is for me. But for the ones where you're, giving the events that are happening in London and stuff like that, basically you want to make sure that you cut it right before that hook. And then that second hook is going to end up being the very start of your replay. So you want to cut everything else out in the editor. And then of course you want to make sure that your thumbnails optimized for the video replay, for the video on demand instead of the live stream, things like that. Same with the title. And then you're good to go. Also make sure that after the stream is over that you post optimize your stream in terms of putting end screens on it, YouTube cards, things like that to help people find more of your content as well if they come in and join your stream. Okay, so now if you have a question, go ahead and drop it in here, and I'm going to start this one at this comment. So anything that comes in after this comment, per my view, because, it shows up differently for everybody, but as it comes in per my view here, I'm just going to start at the top, the very first ones that I see, and then I'm just going to start, nailing through them down there. Hey, and first off, I just want to say Daniel Batal is in the house. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. And more importantly than him being in the house is that he brought coffee and donuts. So show of hands, anybody want donuts? Just show of hands, or if anybody needs a coffee, he's got them. Daniel, if you just want to leave them on the table over there, and then anybody that, wants any donuts or coffee, you can just head over to the table and grab whatever it is that you need. Okay, so the first question here is from Annie Rude. I hope I'm saying that right. It says, and I apologize if not, niches on the internet for me is like being a kid in the candy store. How do you stick with one candy and roll with it? You stick with the candy that you enjoy the most and you roll with it there. And when it comes to what it is that you enjoy the most, that might end up evolving over time, and chances are pretty high. But basically when it comes to, sticking with a niche, as humans, every single person that's hanging out here in this chat, we're all interested in a bunch of different things. That's us being human. And because of that, we all have to make the choice on, okay, out of all of the things that we're interested in, the stuff that we're going to be talking about on YouTube, what is that stuff? And then we use that stuff to connect with other like-minded people that are interested in similar things that we are. So when it comes to, picking that thing, just pick the thing that you enjoy the most, but also do some research, right? Like, okay, out of all the things that I enjoy, what could I sit down and actually go through this exercise? Do it. What could I sit down right now and write down 100 different video ideas about? Which out of all the things that you enjoy doing, what could you write down 100 video ideas that you think, not just ideas like, oh, I'd make a video about this, I'd make a video about this, but how could you write those as actual titles that people would click on, right? Write down 100 of those. It might take you all day, but write down 100 of those to verify that you're going to be able to make that content at least for 100 videos, right? And then of course, by the time you make 100 videos, you'll figure out ways to come up with, more video ideas. But the idea is to make sure that you qualify the sustainability of the content that you're going to be making. Next thing, of course, is just get real clear on who it is that you're trying to reach with that content, because if you can get clear on that, then that will help you write better titles, make better thumbnails, make better content in general, keep people watching longer and all of that, because you're resonating with the people that you're trying to reach, right? So in terms of, when it comes to picking which candy to stick with, it really comes down to what it is that you enjoy the most, because you're going to be doing it for a while. And of course, making sure that you do the research first to make sure that there's some type of, market for what it is that you're wanting to do, if you're wanting to grow, like a long-term YouTube channel. Let's see here. So make sure if you have a question that you put the Q in front of it, because again, that's how I identify it's for me. So Stitch Penny says, should one expect views to drop due to season change and virus restrictions lifting everywhere? I've heard views over the past 2 years aren't typical because of everything that's going on in the world right now, and more people are YouTubing. So basically, yeah, views have been kind of crazy over the last 2 years. And basically we had like a serious spike. Like when everybody went inside, it was like, it was unfortunate for everybody having to go inside, but man, like if you were doing anything online at that point in time, like it was a crazy time. But in terms of, that dropping off, there are a lot of people that, that started watching YouTube, or they started creating content that actually stuck with it as well. But in terms of expecting views to drop, at the end of the day, if you're making content people enjoy and all of that, then you might be coming down off of like that, that swell of traffic, so to speak, but you'll still do fine. You'll still be able to, grow your channel. You'll still be able to do all the things, as long as you're making good content decisions, and doing all the stuff that we talk about here on the stream. So in terms of expecting them to drop, that's not always the case. So if you're making content that's like seasonal, like sports and things like that, then in that case, you'll definitely have, big swings, or you can have big swings, in that type of content. But when it comes to, just general pretty much everything on YouTube. Some content's going to do better, now that all that stuff's over. Some content's going to be, or not over, but now that we're coming out of the back of it, some content's going to do better. Some content's going to do worse. So because of that, yeah, I would definitely expect, some type of changes there, just out of, not as many people having the time to, be on the computer all the time or on their phone all the time or whatever. But in terms of long term, that's what you got to think about. You got to think about now, but you also got to think about, okay, am I committed to doing this for the next, 2 years or 5 years or, whatever your thing is. And then during that time, as long as you keep, bringing value to people and you do all the things that we're talking about, then you'll do fine. So quote at you says, hey, Nick, I just wanted to ask how I can let YouTube know my type of content motivation so YouTube can spread my content to the right audience. Thank you. It actually goes in reverse. So basically, when you are putting your content out, of course, by, mentioning motivation, of course, having that in your title somewhere, motivational, you want to make sure you're adding that type of stuff, your descriptions as well. But at the end of the day, like YouTube, it's actually listening to and watching your videos as well. And they're going to be able to identify, what your content's about. So what you need to do on your end is just make sure that, that it's clear, that you're clear in your communication, that you're showing, the right imagery within your videos to just help the system, identify what's going on. But their AI is really smart and they're going to figure it out. But definitely adding motivational, to your title, adding, one of those words to your description, making sure that you're also using the tags for that as well, even though tags aren't really that, important these days. Still using it in there. I would even use the hashtag, motivational, another hashtag, motivation, those types of things to help you get some traffic from the hashtag search results pages as well. Doing all of those things will get you in front of the right people. And then as long as those people start responding, then YouTube will start showing it to more of the right people as long as they're having a positive experience with it. If there's a video getting a good amount of views, but you think not many people enjoy it, so it may be driving people away from watching other content on your channel, should you delete or unlist it? I don't think so, because if some people enjoy it, then you can leave it there for them. Of course, it's important to think at scale and make sure that you are making the decisions that will end up moving you forward. But at the end of the day, you also have to think okay, maybe, my entire audience isn't getting the full value out of this piece of content. But if there's a subset of my audience that's getting the value out of this, then I should leave it because people are still getting a lot of value out of this content. But if it's something completely unrelated to everything else that it is that you're doing, but it's driving the channel, that's where you want to start questioning hey, should I leave this here because it's bringing in the wrong people for the content that I'm publishing now? So that's where you would want to start, trying to figure that out. But in this case, so you're watching my live stream right now. These live streams bleed subscribers for me. So I don't know if it's because the people that are coming in here, if they watch the video content, maybe they're expecting this to be a video. And since it's a live stream, they're like, hey, I'm out of here for some reason. Or if YouTube shows it to some people that haven't watched the content in a while and they come in and unsubscribe. Or I don't know if it's because, somebody ends up unsubscribing because I didn't answer their question or, whatever the thing is. But these live streams bleed subscribers for me. But I don't care. And the reason that I don't care is because even though I bleed a bunch of subscribers for every live stream that I do, I know that I'm adding value to a lot more people than the people that are leaving. So because of that, for me, it's worth it to, keep, doing the live streams and keep, doing this in order to make sure that I'm still adding that value, even though some people don't appreciate that value and they end up leaving, or they just end up leaving for whatever other reason. But for me personally, I love doing this. So because of that, I continue to do the live streams. So you just have to factor in, all of those things. Let's see here. I'm struggling to find niche focus. Can you kindly please help? I'm struggling finding niche to focus on. Kindly help me, please. Okay. So what you want to think about is you want to think about the things that you enjoy the most. What do you really love? Like what do you talk about with your friends all the time? What are you known for within your friend group or your family? Is there always stuff that your family comes to you for, that kind of stuff? When you go to a bookstore, what book section do you walk to? Right? If you walk into a bookstore and you walk in the front door, they have all these different sections that you can walk into. Where do you go? Right? those are the things that you're interested in. When you are in a magazine rack, if you pass a magazine rack at the grocery store, and I see here that you're from Pakistan. I've never been in a grocery store in Pakistan, but I know here in Thailand, we have magazines in the grocery stores. I know in America, they have magazines in the grocery stores. Armenia, they have magazines in the grocery stores. Japan, like all over the place, they have them. So I'm going to assume that you guys also have, something like that in your grocery stores as well. But the idea is like all the things that you gravitate to, those are the things that you're interested in. The YouTube videos that you watch, the podcasts you listen to, the TV shows that you watch, all these things are clues into the things that you're interested in. So what you want to do is you want to pick one of those things that you are the most interested in, because you're going to be talking about it a lot, making videos about it a lot. You're going to be known around that topic. So because of that, you just want to think to yourself, like, okay, what is it that I really enjoy the most? What is it I'm known for the most? What is it that I gravitate towards? And what type of content could I make to where I could be talking about those things? And then that's the approach that you take. And then as you are making content about those things, then you also are thinking about, okay, these are things that I enjoy, but how do I actually reach the other people that also enjoy these things? So, through that's where you start really experimenting with your thumbnails and your titles to make sure that you're able to grab people's attention based on, what it is that you are making topically on your channel. I did a relaunch of my channel after taking a break. I'm seeing progress so far, but do you think it's best to start over with a new channel, or should I keep strong with the relaunch? As long as the content is similar in terms of you're reaching, the same or similar audience, then I would just keep on trucking on the current channel. Unless it was a really long break and you have just like a bunch of videos there and like the videos didn't do that great and all that stuff, but you've learned a lot and you think you'd be better off and get just a better start on a fresh channel. In that case, go fresh. But if you're like, hey, the content's going to be the same, everything's the same, the videos are doing okay, then I would just hop back in and just start publishing content, on a regular basis again. And then you should, be able to hop back on the track, so to speak. Do you recommend a personal photo in the thumbnail? And if yes, should it be exaggerated or really animated? So when it comes to a personal photo in the thumbnail, this is where you got to test. So, so you can test your thumbnails. So basically, two ways you can do this. There's actually a few ways that you can do it, but one is if you're getting, a handful, like a decent amount of views on your videos. Let's say you're getting, like 1,000 views on a video or 500 views on a video. Then in that case, you can use Tubebuddy's A/B testing tool to where you can have one thumbnail that has your face and then another thumbnail that doesn't have your face. And then Tubebuddy will give you a report letting you know which one people responded to the best and from where they responded to it the best. So for example, if you're wanting more attention from the homepage or the recommendation features in general, they'll show you browse features and suggested videos, people responded this way, search, people responded this way. So you can get some insight on how each one did based on, those different surfaces, but also which one you're targeting as well. So if you're like, hey, this one did better in search, I'm trying to get into search, then in that case, you would want to, make sure that you're using that one. But in addition to that, you can also go in and you can look at your click-through rate information inside of your YouTube channel. So when you're looking at your click-through rate information inside of your YouTube channel, you can do the same exact thing to where you can say, okay, from this day to this day, this is what my click-through rate was. And you want to make sure that you're not just looking at the upside down triangle that they show you there in your reach tab. You want to make sure that you're actually going into your advanced mode of your analytics, going to your traffic sources, and that you're looking at the places that you're wanting views from. Example, browse, suggested, search, right? And you want to see what your click-through rate is there compared to the impressions that you're getting. But basically you want to mark that down and then you want to swap your thumbnail out. If you don't go the Tubebuddy route, because that's the Tubebuddy route's the easy way. And that's the one that I recommend. It's the one that I use, but you can also do it the way that I'm talking about, to where you go in and you change your thumbnail and then you mark the date and the time that you change the thumbnail. And then you come back in, however long later, let's say if you had 500 views on that first one, and then you came back in, wait for the other one to get 500 views, or you just go in and look at the, the actual real time if you wanted to, or you can sort by the date range to narrow down to from when you changed it. And then you can mark down the click-through rate there. So you can start to get an idea of which ones people respond to most. So basically for every video that you make for the next, let's say 10 videos of yours, then you would make, each version, swap them out, make sure you're tracking everything in a spreadsheet so that you can attribute, whatever changes that you're making to that change based on, how you're tracking everything. But in addition to that, another thing that you can do is if you currently have videos on your channel, because I don't know where you're at in the journey, but like if you, let's say you have 50 videos on your channel or 20 videos on your channel. let's say that out of those 20 videos, let's say that 10 of them have your face on them and 10 of them don't, then you can go into your advanced analytics as well, into advanced mode. And if you click on your channel name, once you're inside of advanced mode in your YouTube analytics, then it's going to have a little dialog box pop up. And in the far right of that, you're going to see a little tab that says groups. Click on that tab, and then you can create a group. And then one group would be, these are my thumbnails with faces on them. And then that would be that group. And then you would add whatever videos have the thumbnail with the face on them there. And then you would do that same exact thing for the thumbnails that don't have a face on them. And then you can actually just do a direct comparison. So you can click on that compare option once you're inside of one of those groups. And then you would pick the other group, and then you'd be able to look at the click-through rate on each individual group to where you could figure out which one, people typically respond to more. But keep in mind when you're doing that though, numbers, like scale is a much better way to gauge that. And the reason for that is because, if you have 10 videos of one and 10 videos of the other, you can definitely uncover some, good information there. However, the place where it's going to really be clear is if you have, let's say 25 or 30 videos on one and 25 or 30 videos on the other. And the reason for that is because you could just put out, some really good topics, and, because the topic impacts your click-through rate, your thumbnail, of course, impacts your click-through rate, and so does the title. So the more videos that you can do these comparisons on, the more accurate, the information is that you're going to be getting back. But at the end of the day, if you use Tubebuddy or you go through and you kind of track it, manually, like I was talking about, then that can give you some just quicker insights for each individual video so that you can, make sure that you're taking the right approach for each individual video. So we talked about that one for a while. So, and I'm talking about advanced mode analytics and stuff. So I hope that wasn't too much, but hopefully that answered your question for you. Let's see here. So as we keep going. Oh, and also in terms of facial expressions too. So with the facial expressions, one thing that I do is I'll test those too. So I'll be like, okay, here's a facial expression. Here's another facial expression. And if you look at my channel right now, you can see the facial expressions that typically get a higher response. Not always, but most of the time. So, so because of that, as I'm going through that, I'll introduce, new faces from time to time, and you'll see them pop up. Some of them will end up sticking, some of them won't. And the ones that don't, they don't stick because people just didn't respond to them, as well. So, just, I recommend that you do the same in terms of hey, I'm going to do these expressions. I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing. And another thing when it comes to the expressions as well, in terms of it being really exaggerated or animated, that's also helpful if it's appropriate to the content. So for example, if you were this is, the worst thing that could happen in your day, this is the worst thing that could ever happen. And then in your thumbnail, you're then, in that case, it's really inconsistent with what's going on, with what it is that you're actually offering in that video. But then on the other side, if it's hey, this new camera blew my mind. This new phone, you're doing living healthy content. So in your case, let's say that you had a green smoothie, right? And you're this green smoothie, how green smoothies can lift your mood, right? 8 ways green smoothies can lift your mood. And it's a green smoothie, and you're super, just super animated, super over the top in that particular video. That type of thing can be effective in that situation. So hopefully that gives some clarity there. Let's see here. Using a channel name with keywords, generic words in the name, like my name, or a small engine repair, just adding your name in front. So when it comes to that doesn't really matter. Technically it can in some cases, but in most cases it doesn't even matter. So once you have a channel for it, if people are looking for that channel, then it'll end up coming up anyway. But if you are let's say for example, and I think this was last week, we had somebody in here and their name was, can't remember off the top of my head, but anyway, the channel name was something that could also kind of cross over as a cooking term, and because of that, they're kind of complicating things for themselves by naming their channel something that already just gets crushed in terms of people targeting that for recipe videos and things like that. So you just want to make sure that you are keeping those types of things in mind. Quote, it says, "Hey Nick, I just wanted to ask how I can let YouTube know." Okay, we talked about that one already. Let's see here. Question, are hashtags important? Hashtags, just for clarity here, hashtags and tags are two totally different things. And I know that's not your question. I'm just making that clear here because we have a lot of people that are just getting started that are hanging out in the chat today. So hashtags and tags are two totally different things. Hashtags, of course, have the little pound sign in front of them. And tags, they have their own little section, okay? Their own little section there is what you want to use when you're using tags. You do not want to put tags in your description. There's some content creators. There's some extremely established content creators. There's even some content creators that you watch that are, depending on, like if you're watching this type of content, there's some crossover content with this content that that some people that are very established are violating the terms of service of YouTube by tag stuffing their descriptions, and they still do it, and they're basically running a risk of getting their account shut down because of it. But be careful when it comes to, putting tags or lists of tags in your descriptions, because even though people get away with it, massively, all it takes is a report. And you can go down. So in terms of hashtags, now when it comes to hashtags, hashtags have a search results page just like search terms do. So just like if somebody were to go to YouTube and type in, how to use StreamYard, then in that case, what like YouTube's going to show that page of all the videos about, how to use StreamYard. So when you are doing the hashtag, let's say in that case, if it was a StreamYard video, the hashtag would be like live streaming or, something like that. Then anybody that's watching another video about live streaming, if they click on that hashtag, it's going to take them to a results page that's going to show other videos that use that hashtag. So if you use that hashtag and it's relevant to the content that you're making, then that can be a way for people to find your content, but it can also be a way for people to leave your content as well. So just make sure that when you are using your hashtags, that they are relevant to your content, that you research the hashtag first. And what I mean by that is, like when we're doing our members only streams and we're looking at, we look at the actual video content, we look at thumbnails and titles and descriptions, and we look at the hashtags they're using and like all this stuff. And one thing that we find on a regular basis is that people are using hashtags that their videos don't belong in. So, like they'll just think of a hashtag and they'll just use that hashtag instead of actually researching that hashtag and realizing that their video is just not appropriate for that type of hashtag, and it's not going to bring them views because their video is going to ultimately not even end up showing up there because it's not the type of content that people typically watch when they click on that hashtag. So because of that, just make sure that you are researching the hashtags that you are using, but you can absolutely use them as a way to, to get additional views. Does premiering a video affect its overall performance? Long term, no. So basically, when you do a premiere on a video, same rules apply. If people respond to that, once your premiere is over, if people respond to that, at a high rate, then YouTube will continue to show it to people. If they don't, then they won't. Freaking awesome! Thank you for the super chat. That was freaking awesome of you. Thank you for that. Oh, let's see here. So really quick, I'm going to hop back into the forum here. I'm going to answer a couple questions here, just to make sure that we are, getting everybody going here. And then I'm going to hop back into the chat again, and we'll crush through some more questions. So the next one that we have here on the list out of the forum is from Sussy Monkey. Sussy Monkey does daily content. They have a meme channel. The goal of the channel is to make people laugh. And the question is, will my short get 1,000 views? Currently has 100. No idea. No idea how many views it's going to get. Next up, Aperture Movement says that they have been on YouTube for less than 6 months. They have a variety channel. The goal of the channel is entertaining and to help people. My question, my current channel was supposed to be a photography and dance channel, mostly social, but it had to become a variety channel as social dance hasn't been very active for obvious reasons, and I haven't really used my camera too much. Would it be okay to open another channel? The new channel will be a Christian channel with just Christian content. Absolutely. Yeah, so if you want to move in that new direction, then absolutely starting a new channel from scratch to where every video that you publish on that channel is for Christians in that case, then absolutely. Yeah, that's a good move. Let's see here. So the Volley link, that's actually for channel members. So basically that is for the, that's for people that are a member of the YouTube channel. So basically for that, you have to be a channel member. And then as a channel member, you get into our Facebook group. And then in that Facebook group is where you'll find the link to the Volley, for that. Let's see here. So, as we keep on going, hey, what's up, Mike Phillips? Hope you're doing great, man. So next up, we've got Magic Flying Potato. What's up, my dude? Hope you're doing awesome. Says, let's see here, they do survival gaming, and the goal of the channel is growth, helping others with survival gaming, earn some spending money for pizza and beer. Priorities, right? Priorities. And the question is, which is better as a small channel, organic growth or riding on the coattails of a bigger, successful gaming channel? Been struggling a few months with this question while watching another channel that has done this and is growing quickly. So one of the things that that YouTube says that they use to figure out which content to recommend to people in the suggested area is the relevance to the content that they're currently watching. So it's basically the topical relationship is the language they use for it. So when you are, riding the coattails of one of those, other channels, of course, if it's got, if there's like a huge gap in that channel and yours, then in that case, I wouldn't do that. But if there's somebody that's like, hey, they're getting traction, they're doing well, they're not like too far ahead, but they're doing pretty good. Then in that case, if you do make things that are topically similar or in contrast, things like that, where if they were to watch one of their videos, that if yours was, next to theirs or being suggested next to theirs, it wouldn't be the same exact video on the same exact thing, but it would be something that would relate to that video in some way. That can be a good strategy to try to get connected to that channel, in addition to using playlists so people watch videos together and driving people into those playlists and so on. But at the end of the day, organic growth can be, I should say, riding on the coattails of the bigger channel also. But really, like, the way that I look at that approach is like, it absolutely is, an approach that you can take. But at the end of the day, like, that keeps you following somebody else, right? Like, hey, what are they doing? What are they doing? Then I'm going to do something. And it just keeps you constantly reacting to what somebody else is doing. Whereas if you're like, hey, I'm going to be the innovator in this situation, and you're putting out the content that, that you care about the most, and then you collect the audience or create the audience around that. I think that's where like the real wins come from in terms of just like fulfillment, as well as the channel doing well also. Because if you're just putting out content and chasing another channel, then that just leaves you in that constant reaction mode versus, trying to come up with like, hey, what video can I make that would really resonate with, with the people that I'm trying to reach. Let's see here. So next up on our list, hope that helped, Brad. If you have any questions about any of that, of course, shoot me a message on Volley. So Invisible America TV, what's up? Hope you're doing great. Annette, hope you're doing awesome. Mr. Camera Junkie, what's up, my dude? Hope you're doing great. So let's see here. So Lost Curry is the next question here. It's an educational channel. The goal is to help console gamers learn to live stream and grow their community and an income to go full time. And the question is it a YouTube no-no to recommend a video in the card or mention at the start of a video, or is it best to just mention at the end of the video or at the end of the video to not hurt the watch time? So yeah, you don't want to add a card at the very beginning of your video. And what they mean by card is you have those info cards that pop up at the very top of your screen, right? It has a little icon and then it scrolls out and it has that little call to action to go watch another video or whatever. That's the info card. So you do not want to put those at the very beginning of your video, because then that can negatively impact the performance of that video. So you would essentially be sacrificing the long-term performance of one video to try to get a quick hit on another video. So what you want to do, and this is according to YouTube, YouTube recommends that you save any cards that you're using for the last 20% of your video. And the reason for that is because then that gives people a chance to consume that content, and YouTube a chance to get an idea of how those people are responding to that content and how satisfied with it they are before they click on that card. So then that way you get all that watch time from that video, and then they click on that card, then you get the watch time from there and so on. So when it comes to your card, you do not want to put that at the very beginning of your video. You want to make sure that you save it for the last 20% of your video. And really, I would save it, like if you go in your audience retention and you're like, hey, like people are holding in this video like all the way to the end, then in that case, like you might not even want to use a card. Or if you start to use finalizing language in your video in terms of, and that's how you XYZ, or that's why I think that, or and that concludes our trip too, or that's how you make that. Now let's do our taste test, or something like that. If you use that type of language in your videos that indicates to the viewer that your video is coming to an end or that it's over the information they came in for, then typically in your audience retention report, you'll see people start leaving during that point in time. So if you still want to use that type of language before people have the chance to click, before people have a chance to click on your end screens, then in that case, that's a great place to put a card. So basically, if you have in your videos anywhere to where you're like, and that's how you whatever, and you notice people are leaving, then anytime that you do that in your videos, and you can even go back into your past videos and do this, you can add a card just a little bit before that point so that it gives people a place to go to. So in that case, you have a little card pop up that's relevant to the video that they're watching, so that some of the viewers will end up clicking on that and going over and watching more content.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right. So let's see here. So next up on our list, we are going to hop back into the chat. So if you have a question, go ahead, and I'm going to put this one right under Chantel's question here. So if you have a question, make sure you put a Q in front of that question so that I can identify that it's for me. But if you have a question, go ahead and drop it in here right now. So this one, they don't have a Q in front of it, but I'm just going to go ahead and answer anyway. So when it comes to hiring an editor, it really comes down to your time and, you know, where you'd better spend that time. So, when it comes to an editor, some people, they're like in a hurry because they don't like editing, but if you enjoy editing, like you don't ever have to hire an editor. But if you're like, hey, you know, if I hire an editor, that'll open up more time, you know, with my family, or that will open up more time for me to work on other projects that can also help move everything forward. Then in that case, you know, that's where you would hire an editor. So if you don't like editing, or you know, you can use that time in a better way, then that's where you would want to hire an editor. Space Team says, if you put something exciting on your thumbnail, do you get to the point of the thumbnail immediately, or do you let the viewer wait? So basically, if you put something exciting in your thumbnail, you want to let people know that they're going to be getting that. So it can be something verbally that you say, it can be, you know, something that you show to kind of build up to that thing that's going to be happening, whatever. But at the end of the day, you want to have some type of reinforcement when they first start the video to confirm that they're not getting clickbaited, so that they have that reason to continue watching, and they also get a little bit more context that the thumbnail might not necessarily give them. Do you have a course for new channels on how to grow at this moment in time? No. I mean, technically I have one, but it's not published. But I'm rebranding everything, and I will be putting out a course this year. I have some other projects that I'm involved with that are going to be coming out in the very near future. And those are kind of priority right now. And then after those are out, that's when I'll end up putting a course out. I have 1,000-ish subs. How can I request a different custom URL than the ones that are currently offered to me by default? All you have to do is just type it in. So like they're going to, recommend some to you, but you can just type in whatever it is that you want. But the downside is if they already have somebody using the one that you want, then it's only going to give you additional options in terms of, choices that you have. But at the end of the day, you can type in, whatever it is that you want for your name, but you'll only get it if it's available though. And Get to the Farm says, once you select your custom URL, it's forever. Actually, it's not. So you can change your custom URL on your YouTube channel, but there is a limit to how often you can change it. How to lock my live streams into landscape. So if you're doing your live streams on a phone, then I'm not sure what phone you're using, but I know that on an iPhone we have, let's see here, we have this little thing right here. We have this little thing right here to where we can actually hit the lock there. And then that way, if we have it in landscape mode, we hit the lock, then it's going to lock that orientation. So you can do it there. I think you might also be able to do that inside of Filmic, Filmic Pro. It's an app. So if you are recording, if your phone doesn't have that immediate functionality that you can find, if you Google for it, I'm sure you'll be able to find it on whatever device you're using. But if not, then you might want to look into like Filmic Pro or something like that, because I'm pretty sure they have one in there too. D-Stick1 says, hey, Nick, what are your thoughts about the community tab and frequency of post? There's a group of us sharing our content via community. Is there any optimal timing so that you don't spam? So basically, you want to be publishing, you want to publish those on a regular basis, especially if you're doing tab collabs, like where you're, sharing each other's content and things like that. When you are doing that, though, make sure that you have a similar audience. So like, for example, you don't want to be sharing, if you have like a gaming channel, you don't want to be sharing like a cooking channel's content in your stuff, especially if you're just getting started, like, and vice versa. So like, you don't want to like a cooking channel sharing your stuff. You want to make sure that it's like gamers sharing gamers. Or if you have like, a cooking channel, you want to make sure that the audience that, that person is exposing you to, is an audience that is relevant to the content that you're making. Because the last thing you want is a bunch of people coming over and, subscribing to your channel that don't actually care about your content and that won't watch your content. So, so make sure that you do that. Let's see here. Okay, so next up on the list, Doug, I just saw your message in there, Doug. Yep, absolutely, man. Like, in terms of usage, still full steam ahead. Let's see here. So let's scroll down here really quick. Okay. So, Science-Based Fitness, sucks. Hope you're doing awesome. Says, just sold my first shirt from Spreadshop. I watched your video on how to set it up. Super easy, and I just wanted to say thanks. High five and fist bump to you for making that, for making your first sale there with Spreadshop. Nice work. So, so what he's talking about there, just as a heads up, if you're not in the partner program, but you want to get income from your YouTube channel, what you can do is you can sell merch from your YouTube channel, even if you don't have the merch shelf. And all you have to do is go to like spreadshop.com as an example, go to spreadshop.com, create an account there, and then you can either make the designs in apps. There's free apps that you can use to do this, or you can go to a place like placeit.net that has templates, or you can hire somebody on Fiverr or make them yourself in Photoshop or wherever. And basically just spread awareness about it through your videos that you have it available, and then make sure that you put that link in the description where people can go over and get your merch. So, so congratulations to you for making that first merch sale. Looking forward to seeing how it goes in the future. Any tips for being consistent? Absolutely. So consistency is one of the games, so to speak, when it comes to YouTube, and one of the levels, right? So when it comes to YouTube, consistency is definitely important, because you want to make sure that you're putting out content on a regular basis, you're bringing people back into the channel on a regular basis, that you're just interacting, with your channel. And when it comes to consistency, life always gets in the way. So because of that, if you're struggling with consistency, I recommend that you add the process of making videos into your schedule, like literally add it to your calendar. Just like if you have to go to school, you know that you have to be at school at a certain time. So most of the time you're there at that time. If you have a job, you got to be there at a certain time, and you make sure that you make it. Same exact thing applies to YouTube. If you're like, hey, I want to, to have my videos do well on YouTube, and I want to put out content on a regular basis, if it's that important to you, then you need to go and make sure that you are, that you're publishing content on a regular basis. So part of that is scheduling into your calendar wherever you have time to actually work on that project. So for example, if you are, if you have like a little bit of free time on Monday, then that free time can be spent coming up with video ideas, researching those video ideas to see which ones you want to make. And then on Tuesday, that might be your day to actually start scripting or, putting bullet points together for the videos that you want to make. And it's even better for you if you're struggling with consistency, if possible, with the type of content that you make, because I know it's not possible with all types of content, but if it's possible, the type of content that you make, it's even more advantageous or more helpful to be able to make more than one video at a time. So for example, when you're doing your keyword research on that Monday, you're like, okay, these are all the videos that I'm going to make, or topic research. These are all the videos that I'm going to be making, on my channel here for the next, this topic I'm making it, this topic I'm making it, this topic I'm making it, this topic I'm making it. So that gives me 4 videos this month. So then you know those topics, and then you start working on the bullet points and scripts for those, and then you actually have your day that you record, and then you have the day that you edit, and then of course on the edit, because those take longer. So when it comes to the actual edit itself, then you make sure that you just give yourself that time in your schedule as well. Like from this time to this time I edit my videos, and of course you want to give yourself an overflow day to where you have a little bit of time there as well, so that in the event you don't finish the video on that editing day, that you do have that extra day scheduled to where it gives you that extra time. And if your video is complete by that day, then you can use that for education time or skill building time, to practice making better thumbnails, to listen to a podcast about copywriting, so you can start trying to make your titles a little bit better in terms of psychology, like those types of things. So when it comes to being consistent, just schedule it in. Schedule it in, make the process of creating content part of your lifestyle, because if this is something that you want to do long-term, in order to be sustainable, you got to put out content on a regular basis. So because of that, you have to work content into your lifestyle. Professor Mo,
Super chat.
thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Says, hey Nick, can you have a channel with a few different topics: gaming, comedy, social media, and YouTube, grow, self-development? I know that it's important to target one category, but I want your thoughts. So can you? Yes. But if you want that channel to grow faster, and you want just the overall impact of that channel to be higher, then in that case, it's important to focus. And let me explain that. So if you have a channel and you have gaming, comedy, social media, and self-development, then in that case, what's happening is on your channel, you're going to have people subscribe for gaming. You're going to have some other people subscribe for comedy. You're going to have some other people subscribe for social media and YouTube stuff. You're going to have somebody else subscribe for the self-development, and there's not crossover. So that means that if I subscribe to your channel because I love your self-development content, when you publish a gaming video, I'm not watching it. When you publish a comedy video, I'm not watching it. I'm there for self-development. When you publish a social media video, I'm not watching it. I got channels that I watch for that. I come to your channel for self-development. So therefore, those 3 videos that you publish, I don't care about them. So that means that that's going to hurt the amount of people that are returning to your channel over the course of the month. That means that it's going to end up impacting your click-through rate, because YouTube is going to present content to people that have been active in your channel. And when they do that, if the content isn't laser focused on those people, they're not going to click on it. And then therefore, it's going to hurt your click-through rate. It just makes everything slower and clogs everything up. Now, in terms of, I don't want to say clogs everything up. It just makes everything slower, because in that case, you end up working against yourself with all of the non-relevant videos that you publish. So is it possible? Absolutely. And can you have one video that does great, or a handful of videos that do great in gaming, a handful of videos that do great in comedy and social media and everything else? Sure. But the problem is serving all of those different audiences all the time. And then again, like I said before, the thing kind of collapsing in on itself because there isn't really a real audience that you're serving there. Do you have a Go XLR or Go XLR Mini? And can you recommend it if you do? I do not. I do not have a Go XLR or a Go XLR Mini. So what I use for my stuff is, let's see here. So this right here is the ATEM Mini Extreme. It's the switcher that I use here. And then this right here is the Rodecaster Pro. And this right here is what I use to like process my audio, trigger my sound effects, that kind of stuff. Like I love this thing, absolutely love it. But it processes my voice, so it makes my voice sound like a lot better and all that stuff. So let's see here. Nick, how realistic is it for new creators to publish more than one video a week and still maintain the quality? It's very realistic. So basically, when you are first getting started, you are going to be a bit slower. So when you first get started, you're still learning like how to use the editing software. You're still getting your workflow together. You're not necessarily, some people will, but depending on any experience you might have had before coming onto YouTube, you might not be even thinking about your edit when you're recording your videos, and you might just record tons and tons and tons of content, and then you get it in your computer and you have all this stuff to work with just because you haven't learned yet that you should be recording for the edit instead of just recording a bunch of stuff, right? So because of that, as you keep on, trucking, you're going to get faster. You're going to get more efficient, at doing the thing. But when you are first getting started, it's absolutely realistic for creators to publish more than one video a week, but the wild card, so to speak, in that situation is like what else is going on in that creator's life. So if it is, if it's you, and then we have Martonic here that's coming up right after, we did that one already. Hold on, where am I? Oh, there we go. So let's say we do Martonic, right? They're going to have a totally different lifestyle than you have. And because of that, their ability to create content as efficiently as you or vice versa is going to be vastly different. So, it's going to be different for everybody. But in terms of it being realistic, it's absolutely realistic. It just comes down to prioritizing. So, for example, if you watch a lot of Netflix or you watch a lot of, whatever your streaming, thing is, or you watch a lot of YouTube, that's all time that you can sacrifice in order to make videos so that you can achieve whatever goals it is that you're trying to accomplish, or that you're trying to, use your content for, use YouTube for, so that you can, use that time to accomplish those things. Sure, you're going to be behind on episodes, you're going to be a little bit out of the loop in the conversations when people are talking about like, hey, this thing, in this show, this thing happened, blah, blah. Like you're going to be like, oh, great, I just got a spoiler because I've been working on my YouTube channel, and that's perfectly okay. One thing I can tell you is that as a content creator, somebody that's been doing this for a while, as a person that knows a lot of other content creators that do this professionally, the reward side is totally worth like missing episodes of shows and like, you know, all the wins that you get out of being a YouTube content creator. If you take the right approach here, it's more than worth missing a bunch of episodes, maybe not going to, you know, that movie premiere, maybe, you know, having a couple of nights to where you might have went out, maybe staying in and trying to move the needle forward, you know, from there, you know, totally worth it in that regard, if this is something that you're, you know, wanting to get into. Let's see here. The Hudson's Hub says, I really want to try to check out Spreadshop. If you just go to spreadshop.com, then you'll check it out. You'll see what's there. It's really easy, super easy to set up. Goose Plays, not ignoring you. As you can see, you know, there's a lot of people here in the chat. Like right now, we've got like 247 people, 253. It just jumped up. So it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just that, you know, I can't, you know, like I can't, you know, interact with every single person that comes through. That's really why we have the form down in the description. But what I'm doing right now is I'm actually answering questions for the people that have a Q in front of their question, because that's how I identify that their question is for me, and not a side conversation in the chat. Last Curry.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure when you get the chance, you go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to our members-only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you're a member. If you can do that sometime before the stream, then I'll let you in there as soon as the stream is over. In addition to that, once you get in there, once you get in the group, if you want any feedback on your channel, make sure that you go to announcement number 7 there at the very top of the group. You put your channel into that announcement. And in addition to that, we are testing Volley, the Volley app right now. There's going to be a link to that inside of the members group as well, where we're sending video messages back and forth. If you have questions, you can just send them to me, that kind of stuff. So if you are wanting to do that, then of course make sure that you hit that link as well once you get in there. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, I'm going to come down here to I think it's Demon's Row. Jumping down to the bottom. Okay, so Demon's Row says, I need a welcome to the Nimminati. I joined during the week. If you're over, let's see here. If you're over 100,000, is 2 videos in a live good? What is the best format weekly to drop? So here you go.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. And Natalie Heals as well. Welcome to the Nimminati. For both of you, make sure that you go to nimminvip.com.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Because that's going to redirect you to that members only Facebook group. But in terms of, let's see here, if you're over 100,000, is 2 videos in a live good? Totally. Yeah, that's fine. The idea, like you can get away with 1 video a week, and you can be fine. It's just how people respond to it and what it is that you're trying to do. So for example, like my views are a little bit down. I've been, like towards the end of last year, I was I was pretty inconsistent, with my content, stuff like that. I scaled everything down to like 1 video a week plus a live stream. Sometimes I would just completely miss the video for the week and I would just focus on the live streams, that kind of stuff. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing the video content plus my live stream, plus I'm dropping in a short. And then as I, get that cadence down over the next 30 days, then I'm going to ramp it up to another video. So basically it'll be 2 videos per week plus a short plus the live stream. So that'll end up being the content that's going out here. Once I move into that mode. But basically that's perfectly fine. If it's 2 videos in a live, that's perfectly fine. In terms of the best format, in terms of, videos and live streams and stuff, it depends on what you're doing, because like, if your live streams get as good of a response as your videos, then of course, having those in there to where, you can get the long-term views from them. I mean, they can carry the weight just like a video can, but typically videos will end up outperforming live streams, but live streams themselves can also just get crushed, in views as well. But what you can do is you can look on your channel and just see what people respond to the most. Prioritize that content as the stuff that you drop on a regular basis. Time to Speak Italian. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Let's see here. My pleasure. Happy to see you in there. Let's see here. Okay, so here, we're all in the same, Nick, we're all in the same content space, so sharing 3 posts in 24 hours is not going to cause people to think we're spamming, for instance. I guess the question is, how often should we post? Okay, so if you're on the same content space, then that's good, but I wouldn't share the 3 posts in a 24-hour period. I would let them breathe. So I would do like a post a day. If you're in your community feed, personally, I would only post also on the days that you're not actually publishing content, so that you're not actually competing with yourself on home pages as well. So basically, I would do a post a day as long as it's not a published day. Do you have any advice for outdoors community as far as content creation? Absolutely. You know, same exact thing applies to you that applies to all of us. And I know this isn't the answer that you're looking for, but you know, you have to make sure that you're thinking, you know, when people are opening up YouTube on their phone and they're sitting there scrolling through their home feed, you got to think, okay, out of this thumbnail, out of this title, out of the topic of this video, if somebody's just sitting there scrolling, why would they want to click on this? Why would this be important to the people that I'm trying to reach? Why would somebody else that I don't know, that is not me, why would somebody else care about this? In terms of they're seeing this for the first time, this thumbnail and their title, why would the people that I'm trying to reach, you know, people that are interested in outdoor content, why would this matter to them? If you start defining that, then you'll start getting more clicks. Because when you start doing that, then what you start doing is you start being hyper intentional about everything it is that you're doing with your channel. And that can help you really dial things in to really resonate with the people that you're trying to reach. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, we've got, it's official now, right? You're like, yeah, I feel welcomed now. Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. So let's see here. So as we keep on going down this list here, okay, should we schedule our videos? I'm thinking of uploading videos every second day at 11 p.m. So you can schedule your videos. That's fine. Just as a reminder though, like all the, you know, numbers and everything, like nothing really starts counting until you actually go public with it. But yeah, it's absolutely fine to schedule content. Let's see here. Any tips on health and fitness channels? Absolutely. Same exact thing that I told, you know, in the outdoor situation. Like if you're talking about fitness, make sure that you're using, and health, make sure that you're using that type of imagery in your thumbnails, because the person that's going to be watching the health and fitness content that you're making most likely is also watching some other health and fitness content. And because of that, YouTube is going to be showing some of that content along with all the other things that they're interested in somewhere on their homepage. So, or in their mobile feed. So because of that, you have to make sure that your content stands out and is easily identifiable to those people as, you know, content that is related to health and fitness, which is what they're interested in. So yeah, I made a video that's relevant to my channel and is taking off, but I don't want my channel to be just on this topic. Should I be worried that all the attention is just on this video? Yeah, you should. So like if you made a video, well, you say it's relevant to your channel. So if it's relevant to your channel, but you don't want your channel to be on that topic, then I'm not sure why you publish that video. But like if it's relevant to the channel, then it should be fine in terms of if that video takes off. And what I'm thinking through here is if you publish a video on your channel and it's relevant, then in that case, if it's taking off, it's still going to be bringing in the right people that your other content will still be a good fit for. So if that's the case, then it's perfectly fine. But if it's like, hey, this is going to bring in like a totally different audience and I'm not even going to make any follow-up content for this, then in that case, then yeah, I would be a little bit worried, because if that video is doing substantially better than the other videos on your channel, then that can end up being a primary traffic driver to the channel. And then therefore the other videos that you're putting out aren't going to be relevant to the people that are interacting with that content. So, so if that's the case, then I'd be worried. But if it's like, yeah, it's relevant, you know, some of the people, like a subset of the people that are interacting with my content will enjoy this video. In that case, then it's perfectly fine. And I wouldn't even worry about it. Thank you for that, Doug. Going in there now. So this next question here is from Mantis. This is a super chat that I accidentally overlooked, so I apologize for that, Mantis. Says, can you touch on shorts? Are they to ads to already content, or should be totally different? So when it comes to YouTube shorts, you want to make sure, okay, let's do it this way. When it comes to YouTube shorts, the videos that you upload to your channel, the community posts that you're making, the live streams that you're doing, if I said that already, I'm not sure, your YouTube shorts, all of those things should all go towards the people that you're trying to reach. It should all be relevant to the audience that you're trying to reach, and everything should overlap in some way. Now, of course, you've heard me mention the subsets of your audience. So of course you're going to have, some of your content, people are going to respond to better than some of your other content based on, whatever it is that you're doing. But ultimately at the end of the day, you want your shorts to be relevant to the content that you make that is not short, so that if somebody ends up subscribing to your channel, or they click on your channel name and they go and they watch some of the other content because they thought your short was awesome, and they end up on your channel, and then they start binge watching some of the other content, that content is relevant to what they care about. So because of that, you absolutely want to make sure that your shorts are relevant to the content that you are currently making on the channel. Let's see here. Neil, Urban Van Life. What's up, man? Says, hey, buddy, we're setting up a studio room in the house for doing videos about electrical parts for vans like Roger Wakefield does on his channel. I'm looking for a good recorder to use for video rather than the GoPro. You're looking for a recorder, like an audio recorder, or a camera? If you're looking for a camera, then in that case, like the ZV-1s are great. Like this camera right here, this is a ZV-1. And I just use it as an overhead cam just because it looks good and it's easy for me to like turn on and stuff. And it doesn't have a lens, so it's lightweight, and I have it on this bar that's coming out of the truss there. But like this camera, the quality of it is fantastic. So you might want to look into these. Plus you can attach a microphone to them, all that good stuff. So if you don't want to use the GoPro, you don't want all the, if you don't want to have it in that linear mode, and you also want, the nice buttery depth of field and things like that, this camera, as you can see here, if we get a little bit close, hold on. Not sure if I actually have this set to focus in the center. Not sure. Yeah, it's actually not focusing on my hand. So yeah, I might have it over in some other weird spot. Oh, there it goes. Yep. So, but you can see anyway, in terms of just like the camera quality, how it looks there. But I definitely dig this camera. But if you're talking about an audio recorder, then I recommend the Zoom H4n for an audio recorder. I've had the Tascam. I'm not sure what the actual model number is on it, but that Tascam was good. But the Zoom H4n it's just better in my opinion. And I've also tried the Zoom H5, I think is what it is, or the H6. And that one I didn't care for because it would like add stuff to the audio. So I defaulted back to my old school H4n, and I get much better audio out of that. Let's see here. So, next question that we have on our list here, and I'm just trying to like rapid fire these so that I can, answer as many of these as I possibly can here. So really quick, Yorkshire Outdoors says, how many tags should I be using in my videos? I do want to let you know that tags are kind of like the least important metadata. Use tags. It doesn't matter how many you use, but use tags. Make sure that you only put your tags in the tag box in terms of an actual list of tags. But you can use as many as you want. But what you want to think about is hold on, on-screen recorder, kind of like recording video to a PC. Oh, if you mean like an on-screen recorder, like you're recording your screen, then in that case, I would use Camtasia. Camtasia, hands down, is like the best screen recorder, for recording your computer screen. Yeah, use Camtasia for that. Yeah, and you're a member as well, and you're a mod. So I actually have a discount code. Like if you go into the members only Facebook group, I think it's like a 10 or 15% discount in there for Camtasia if you do end up getting it. But in terms of the tags that you're using in your videos, so of course you can put tags in natural language in your description, but you don't want to put a list of tags in your description. But in terms of your videos, all you got to do is just think, is this relevant? Yes or no. Don't spend a ton of time on them. Use Tubebuddy, and then Tubebuddy's going to give you recommendations, and all you have to do is think, relevant, yes, click. Relevant, no, don't use that one. Relevant, yes, click. Relevant, no, don't use that one. Relevant, yes, click, and so on. Let's see here. I made a video that's relevant to my channel. Oh, we did that one already. Let's see here. And I got that taken care of. So we're good there. Okay. Let's see here. Is it better to share the content on of Facebook and other social media platforms? So when you share your content out, what you want to think about is you just want to make sure that you're sharing it in front of people that are a good fit for the content. So it's more advantageous to share it in front of fewer people that are a good fit for the content than in front of a lot of people that are not a good fit for the content. And the reason for that is because when people are coming into the content, you want them to enjoy it and end up subscribing to the channel and watching more and all that good stuff. So because of that, you want to make sure that if you are sharing it, that you are sharing it, to people that are into that type of content. So for example, if you share it on like your main Facebook profile, then you'll have like family members and friends and, like people like that going in and just acquaintances and all that. People will go in just to support you. And that's not what you want. What you want is you want to make sure that when you're sharing it, that there are people that will actually enjoy the content so that your efforts aren't wasted. And one thing that you can find is when you do start sharing your content out, if you go into your traffic sources and then you actually click into your traffic sources, then you'll be able to see like, hey, people coming over from Facebook, watch for this amount of time. People coming over from Twitter, watch for this amount of time. You can see that inside of your analytics if you actually click into external in your traffic sources. So then you can see like in terms of the effort that you're putting out to share it, what you're actually getting in return. But one thing that I can tell you is that you can absolutely pull views from all these other places. I would actually focus more on like, well, Facebook's fine, but I would also do like Twitter, of course. I actually have a video. If you watch my video about sneaky ways that new YouTubers can get views, watch that video and I actually tell you how to use some other social media platforms to in a passive way, really, once you get it all set up, in order to be able to, get more exposure on your content. How can I make edutainment content more entertaining? Be more entertaining in terms of, insert jokes, from time to time, but just do it in a natural way. You don't have to be like corny or anything like that, but just try to just let your personality out. If you let your personality out, if you're a fun person, then in that case, then you're going to automatically, add personality to it and make them a lot more entertaining and fun because you're not being stiff, right? So step one is add your personality to it so that you can, so you can make sure that you are, connecting with folks that way. Hey, thanks. CMNT Surfer. I appreciate that. Okay. We answered that one already. Let's see here. We did that one already. We did that one. We did that one. Okay, recommending shorts now. I thought you were suggesting they were not good for channel growth. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually, shorts absolutely are good for channel growth, but they're not always good for the goals that people are trying to accomplish. So in my case, I'm experimenting with them on this channel just to see how you guys respond to them, to see how YouTube acts when I upload shorts as well. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing shorts on this channel or not. You'll see in the future if I will, but I'm basically doing them on this channel just to see what happens. One of the things that I'm always telling you guys is to experiment, right? Always experiment with your thumbnails, your titles, things you're doing in your videos, experiment like crazy. So for me, this is just one of the experiments that I'm running on my channel with the shorts, just to see how you respond to them and to see how YouTube, responds to those shorts as well, based on how you guys respond to them. But shorts, they are good for channel growth, but they're a totally different monster. So basically, when it comes to YouTube Shorts, the thing that people, and I'm going to make a video about this, I think, but the thing that people don't get when it comes to YouTube Shorts, because a common question that I get in my comments, common questions that I get here in these live streams, is people are like, hey, I'm getting views on my shorts, but I can't get any views on my long form videos. I actually had a friend of mine hit me up last night, actually, on his channel, because he does shorts on a regular basis and his channel's just like blowing up because of his shorts. But then when he publishes these interviews on his channel, people just aren't responding to him. And I told him, I'm like, well, of course not. I was like, like right now, in shorts, it's just easy to get views there because all it takes to get a view is this. Right? People don't have to make a choice to actually, click on the shorts that you're making. So because of that, people are like, oh, hey, shorts are better because I'm getting views there. But at the end of the day, if a short doesn't fit into the goals that you have for your channel, then then it's not really that advantageous. But the difference is, a short, you just get that view from people, swiping up, watching it for a little bit. Whereas the long form content, people actually have to make a choice to click on it. So it's a lot harder to get the views in that regard. But the viewer that you're getting is a lot more qualified for your content. They're a lot more qualified for anything else that you're doing related to that content because they're choosing to watch that content based on what it is that they are interested in versus YouTube just throwing a random video at them in the short shelf. Talk Hail Ladies, let's chat.
Super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. She says that thanks for these live streams. It's been helping. My pleasure. Glad that you're enjoying them. Let's see here. Back to the replay. Are short videos calculated in watch time at this moment in time? No. In terms of not towards the partner program. Love all of your stuff, Nick. Thank you for the kind words there. Does YouTube penalize or flag creators for streaming simultaneously on more than one channel? That's actually called duplicate content. People do it. People get away with it. But just as a heads up, if you are doing that, you're actually risking violating the terms of service and possibly losing both channels or all three channels or however many places that you're doing that to. But it's duplicate content. In other words, it can be, it's like spam, because basically you're taping that same exact moment in time in that live stream and you're broadcasting that to multiple YouTube channels, basically multiple places on the same platform. That's spamming. So it's against the terms of service there, but it's also under duplicate content as well. Demon's Row
Super
says, I think YouTube tried to compete with Instagram with the shorts, is hurting a lot of our views. What do you think? So in my opinion, I think that YouTube adding the shorts is actually advantageous. So some people are really good at making shorts and they're really good at making like a minute long piece of content, and they're not good at making a 10-minute long piece of content. So because of that, in my opinion, I think that shorts are a great entry point for new YouTube content creators. And I'll tell you why. And I'm sure there's a lot of you in the chat right now that can resonate with this. So when you publish a long form piece of content on YouTube, because you have to get people to click on it, you have to have two main skills. One, there's a lot of skills that go into each one of these, but one, you have to be able to do two main things. One, get people to click. And that's a really hard thing to do. You got to get people to click. And then once they click, you got to make your content good enough to where people will enjoy it, to where YouTube can identify that it's a satisfactory experience through the way they engage. Now, when it comes to, and all of that is really hard, and it takes, it can take time in order to develop the skills that you need in order to get the results there. However, in YouTube Shorts, it's a totally different game because they're showing the content to people. They're just showing it to people. It's just popping up. And because of that, as a new content creator, it's encouraging. It's encouraging to see when you publish that short video, hey, I got like 15 views on this one where my other video got like 1. Or, hey, I have this short, it got 1,000 views on it. This is awesome. Where my long video, it didn't get any views on it. So because of that, for new content creators, it's encouraging because you get to see results faster. And when you start seeing results faster, then it encourages you as a content creator. It encourages you, if you're just getting started with all this stuff, it encourages you to keep going. And to keep, hey, this is working. So it gives you that fire that you need, so to speak, or that motivation that you need to keep seeing it through, so that, over time you'll get better at doing that. And you'll also get better at making the other videos as well. You'll learn how to get people to click, and you'll get a lot more immersed in this stuff, and you'll be able to, really tap into the opportunity available here. So for those reasons, I think that them adding shorts is fantastic. But in addition to that, they are bleeding a market share that is, or they were, in terms of, Instagram and TikTok. And, this gives them that opportunity to let some of those creators come over to here and thrive over here that weren't even interested in making long form content. So, I think it's a win all the way around. I don't think it's hurting the long form at all. And the reason I don't think it's hurting long form overall is because the people that are consuming long form content, they're consuming that long form content, for a reason, because they enjoy it. Like me, I can absolutely get lost in the short shelf. I can get lost in Reels. I can get lost in I can get lost in TikTok. However, I'll still watch tons of long form content because, that's the stuff that I go to like learn stuff, to go like more in depth. Like I can get tons of like little tips and tricks and like all these little things, and watch a bunch of people dance, in YouTube Shorts and on TikTok and stuff. Those are like little quick hits of information, which is great. But like if I really want to learn something, or if I really want to be entertained, then, I'll watch a longer video. So, I think everything has its place. And I think that as content creators, that it's just one more opportunity to help us get in front of more people. And a cool thing too is as a quick mention here. Another cool thing is that if you are making shorts, put that stuff on TikTok, put it on Reels, put it anywhere else you can put it, because what you're doing there is the long form content. Typically, that's mostly appropriate for YouTube. Sure, you can upload it natively to Facebook and to LinkedIn, but in terms of like the major social platforms, Facebook is, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, with that vertical content, you can have that on YouTube. You can upload it to TikTok, Instagram, and with TikTok and Instagram, like people are getting easy views over there too. So what happens is by learning how to make that short form content and actually going through that process, you're giving yourself the opportunity to reach a lot more people and to possibly build a stronger brand on some of the other platforms, or at least a brand that is, that helps you expand your brand instead of just being here on YouTube. So it kind of creates these kind of a little bit of security in terms of like, well, if this one goes down, then I've got this one, or if this one goes down, I've got these, and like that type of thing. So I definitely think that that it's a positive thing. It's a little bit weird, right? And like some problems that I have with it, right? Because it's not all, peaches and rainbows, but like, one of the things that I don't like about shorts is how the stats are currently intermingled. I do not like that. And that's what's kept me from uploading shorts on my channel for so long. So I'm like, come on, just, separate everything. And they haven't done it yet. But because everything's intermingled, it really starts, making everything like look weird on the data side. Unless you start grouping things together, and that's just like a whole other, set of work. But that part of it is the part that I don't like about YouTube Shorts. So Mandungus Creevy, thank you for the super chat. Says, hey, Nick, I own a podcasting network that focuses around the NFL team. I'm finding that a lot of advice I've been given or that I've seen doesn't work for this specific type of channel for growth and views. Any advice? So absolutely. So right out of the gate, if you are doing podcasting, I would make sure that you're also doing clips as well, like a clips channel if you're not doing that already. And the reason for that is because not everybody has the time to watch or listen to like an hour-long podcast. A lot of people do, of course. So basically what you do is you take your content and you make it, you make the clips available to where you take like the show highlights or whatever, and you have that on a separate channel. You can put them on the main channel with the main podcast as well. But the idea is that you're going to be putting them out on a regular basis so that you're able to tap into the people that only have 5 minutes or only have 10 minutes of time, at that moment in time, while you're still uploading the long form content as well for the people that do have that longer time. So I would definitely make sure that you're doing that. In addition to that, Roberto Blake in the house. What's up, my man? Hope you're doing awesome. But another thing as well is when it comes to how you're optimizing, I don't know what exactly it is that you are doing, but a big mistake that a lot of podcasters will do on YouTube is like their titles will be something like, like episode 3, whatever the, actual title of it is, and then, something else. And by doing that, you're not really thinking of like, I'm trying to get people to click on this, right? Because at episode 3, it could mean that they need to watch 2 other episodes in order to catch up on that one, or that if they're not, if it's episode 57, they might need to, that they're completely out of the loop, so to speak. So because of that, I would just remove all of that stuff from your titles, or if you do use it, make sure that you put all those like episode numbers, things like that at the very end of your title. And when you are optimizing your titles, you got to think that in your thumbnails too. Like when you are putting your thumbnails together, since your entire show is around an NFL team, make sure that you're using that imagery in your thumbnails, because another mistake podcasters will make on YouTube is that they'll focus on like the host in the thumbnail. Like the thing will be like, hey, this is the host, and then like the name of the show. You want to actually focus that imagery around the NFL in your case, because what you need is for people that are interacting with NFL related content, when YouTube shows yours to them, that they can identify without having to think about it, just at a glance, bam, NFL imagery, football imagery, right? So like I'm, like, hey, this is something I might be interested in. So it grabs their attention, right? Because if you use you, then they got to know who you are, or whoever the host is. I don't know if it's you or not. But if you focus on the host, then they have to know who the host is. But if you focus on NFL imagery, or at least team imagery, then they only have to know who the team is. So that's a lot more people that's got to know who the team is, unless the host is like super famous. So you got to make sure that you're doing those types of things to help people be able to recognize the content from the outside. In addition to that, and what I mean by the outside is, they see the thumbnail and title. What information are they getting from that that's going to cause them to, 1, identify it at a glance without having to think about it, and 2, once once they do identify it, then of course there has to be something compelling there in order to get them to click and want to actually come in and watch it, right? So I would make sure that you're doing that. And also, and I touched on this with the thumbnails, but you also want to make sure that in the titles as well. And I know if you're working with the NFL that you are, that you are going to have like, famous people on your show. But keep in mind that even though they are famous, for that team or whatever, if you want to go broad a little bit, then I would try to, work some of your titles more around the topics that you're talking about in your podcast, more than highlighting specific players from the outside and things like that. So I would just go a little bit more general in terms of the imagery that you're using and in terms of the actual, topics or the actual, titles that you're using and how you're framing the topic is what I should say, or how you're framing your show. That you take the approach that's a little bit more general there instead of focusing in on like specific players and things like that. Now, of course, because you are highlighting a specific team, I think by what you mentioned here. So with that specific team, one thing that I would also do is inside of your analytics, you have the grouping feature. The grouping feature allows you to compare different content sets against each other, different things, different experiments against each other. So for example, what I would do in your case is I would experiment with, of course, the imagery that I'm talking about, but in terms of the actual players, since you are trying to reach a very specific group of people, I would experiment and I would go in and I would say, okay, these are all the videos where we actually call out a player name in our title. And then I would put those into a group, and then I would put the ones where you focus on the actual topic, if you're going to end up taking that approach, if you do, and then have another group to where this is all the videos where we focus on this topic, and then start looking at your click-through rate for each one to see which ones people responded to most, in terms of, if you focused on just the general topic versus the player, which ones end up getting, more clicks at scale. And you can see that by just doing that comparison in your advanced mode in your analytics. So those hopefully are a few things, hopefully that other people haven't said to you, that hopefully you can take and run with for that. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, Natalie Heels, thank you for the super chat there. Says thoughts on hiding subscriber count. It doesn't matter. Like, if you want to hide your subscriber count, do it. But at the end of the day, my opinion on that is that people typically will hide a subscriber count because they are insecure about the amount of subscribers they have at that moment in time. And, because of that, if that's the reason and it makes you feel better, then go ahead and hide it. But at the end of the day, hiding it does make it look a little bit more suspicious than not hiding it. But, like the thing to remember when it comes to YouTube is that YouTubers care about subscriber counts, but the general public, civilians, I call them, the general public, they don't care about that stuff as much like we do as content creators, because it's like a status thing for us, within the community here. But in terms of like the general public, they generally, like they don't really care. And the way that you can see this is that if you publish a video, if you open up your phone right now, here, I'll just do it and I'll just show you the screen. So if you open up your phone right now and you just go to the YouTube home feed. Okay, so I'm just going to go right here. I'm just going to scroll down a few. And let's pick this one. Okay, so why I stopped saving money is this one, and the StreamYard one here is the next one. So this thumbnail started auto-playing, but basically you'll see, if you look here really close, we can see the thumbnails of these two videos, and we can see the titles of these two videos. But the one thing we can't see is the topic at hand, which is the subscriber count. So at the end of the day, some people will be like, oh, well, people, won't subscribe to your channel if you have a low amount of subscribers, or they won't watch your videos. They don't even know how many subscribers you have when they're clicking on the video. So what people want is the value that you're providing to them through your content. And if you can give them that, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. And everybody that's on YouTube that has a sizable channel, like they had to go through the process of learning how to get subscribers and getting people to subscribe to the channel and all that. And everybody started at zero. So I wouldn't like stress out about it. I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't attach any type of like value, personal value to the amount of subscribers that you have on your YouTube channel. If you have, 100, then be like, cool, got 100 subscribers and I can let the world know and I don't care. If you have 5, then hey, I got 5 subscribers. I can let the world know I don't care. If you have, 1 million, cool, I got 1 million. I can flex on it a little bit, but I can also let the world know and don't care. So, so if you're like an artist or something and you're hiding it for the sake of just making sure people are focusing on your art instead of, anything else, then in that case, then, you might want to hide it there. Or if you are insecure about it or whatever, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. But some people do look at people that hide the subscriber count. Some people do look at that as like, it's a little bit weird that they have their subscriber count hidden. But if you're making content that isn't for YouTubers, then the general public really doesn't, they don't really care. So I wouldn't even like worry about it. I wouldn't stress about it. I wouldn't let it occupy time in your mind. Worrying about, one way or the other. If it was me and what I did is I would just leave it public and just keep on moving forward. Let's see here. So see here, I use the LJAB USB mic that you can get at Walmart. Okay. Let's see. I'm just looking to see if there was any follow-up to all the information that I mentioned there. Roberto says that shorts are an unfinished product. Absolutely. Let's see, I'm scrolling down, just looking to see if there was any follow-up there for some of that information. So I want to make sure that I get him taken care of. Okay, yes, I think we're good there. Okay. All right. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for hanging out today. Hope that you enjoyed the stream. Hope that you got some value from what it is that we're doing here today. I do want to let you know, if you are just getting started on YouTube, if any of the stuff that we talked about today sounded complicated, or you're like, hey, what is audience retention? Or he mentioned click-through rate. What is that? I encourage you to go write down right now some of the things that, maybe you didn't understand, or, if there were any words or anything like that I mentioned, like click-through rate, audience retention, that kind of stuff, and go and Google them, afterwards, so that you can, start, educating yourself on those things, because it's things that you need to know as a content creator. But I also encourage you, if you heard me talking about a lot of stuff today and you're like, oh, I need to do that, need to do that, need to do that, need to do that. Instead of trying to do everything all at once, just focus on like a few things and, work on getting those things better. And then once you get those things better, then, then work on the next thing and so on. And besides that, hope to see you here next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And everybody have an awesome rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for hanging out. And I will see you next time. And for those of you that join the channel membership, just a heads up, I'm going to be pulling up the Facebook here in just a second. I'm going to go into chill mode here for just a few minutes. And then while I'm doing that, actually, you know what? I'll just shut it down, and then I'll do that. We're not going to do a chill mode today. I'll just shut it down, and then if you did join the channel membership, I'll let you in right now. So make sure that you did go over to Facebook and you put your information in there, so that we can get you all straightened away over there as soon as the stream is over. So everybody have an awesome rest of your weekend. Stay positive out there. Try to do some good with your content. Leave positive messages, things like that in your content for your viewers from time to time. The world needs it right now. And everybody have an awesome weekend, and I will see you. I'll see you next time.